right, tattoo fam, get ready for a legendary ride. Today, on The Business of Tattooing, we're sitting down with the one and only Durb Morrison. He's not just a tattooer, he's a movement. From building Hell City Tattoo Fest into one of the most iconic conventions in the world, to pioneering artist health and wellness, to launching his viral campaign, Tattooer with a Sign, Durb is a force of nature. But in this episode, we go deeper than the surface ink. We talk legacy, mindset, community, and how staying grounded, creative, and real has helped him carve out a career that spans over 3 decades. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just getting your feet wet in this industry, this episode is sure to light a fire under you. Let's get into it. So what's up, man? I saw you just had that epic 4th of July party again. I was looking at your pictures today on Facebook.
Yeah, the 4th of July party. Man, I've been doing that 4th of July party probably for like 20 years now. It's all like local tattoo artists, artists from my shop, but just people in the tattoo community too that like come out, want to meet other people or artists and stuff like that. And nobody's like, we're not talking business out there, but we are mingling socially, with tattooers and collectors and stuff. So no, every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then we got the drunk adult slip and slide, which goes off every year. Usually have like an injury or two. And then we go straight into the Roman candle battle, and that's pretty crazy. We have one dude get pretty burnt this year on his hand.
Oh, man.
So I think when people come to my party, they're like, man, these guys are wild.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a fun weekend. So I think people are watching it online too, like, what's up with Durb's party this year?
Yeah. Do you go live and shit?
A little bit, yeah. Some people are live out there. I don't. I'm hosting and doing a bunch of other crap,
Yeah.
I have like literally like Dante's here. Dante Delamore is always doing photography and stuff like that. So we get some good footage. So what'd you do for 4th of July?
Man, we went to this party a couple towns over. It was a client of Julia's. We've been going there for a couple years now. But bro, they did like the guy told me it was like $5,000 worth of fireworks, but I feel like it had to be way more than that, dude. It's just like they were just throwing shit up in the air for like 10 fucking minutes straight, dude. And I'm not talking like one at a time. I'm talking 30 fucking fireworks in the air every freaking blast, bro, nonstop. Everybody in the crowd was like, this whole thing feels like a finale. Like,
yeah. We do
just,
that too. So we do the fireworks. I spent like 700, right? But $700 in fireworks goes up like that.
Yeah, dude, that's what I mean. That's why I was like, that had to be more than $5,000.
Yeah.
Because dude, some of them fucking fireworks, $100 a piece,
Yeah, just to put my Roman candle battle on, it's a couple hundred of them, like rockets alone.
Yeah. So we did that, man. It was pretty fun. A lot of people there, but just rode some side by sides through some trails in the woods, and nothing too crazy. No injuries. Bunch of drunk people doing karaoke.
Oh, I should include karaoke one year.
Yeah, dude.
I can do some karaoke.
Yeah. So how far does the farthest person come to your party? How far away?
You talking about like neighbors and stuff like that?
Is it just like Ohio-based people, or do people come from out of state?
No, people came from out of state, Indiana. I think some people came from Michigan this year. A couple of girls, drove down from Michigan. I think friends from Indiana came over. And there's people that I've just met on Facebook that have, been Facebook friends for a while. They've commented on stuff that when they ask me if they can attend, I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool, because meeting people outside of social media, I think is important,
Well, it's crazy. You're like a really traditional guy in that sense. You've been doing that for 20 years, all the years of Hell City now. It's like you just keep these traditions rolling and rolling and rolling, right?
Yeah.
So
as I get older and older and older.
I know, but it seems like you never lose energy, bro. It seems like you're just always doing more shit.
Yeah, that's like taking care of myself, mentally and physically is a big part of it, staying motivated. And I think once you get like traction with what you're doing, whether it's in the industry or any of that stuff, it's like to keep that motivation. It's hard, keep the momentum. It's important too, so.
And you're doing concerts all the time. I thought I just saw you in Indianapolis this weekend.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of everywhere, man.
Ice baby.
Right.
Dude, can you believe that dude's still touring?
No, it's crazy as hell. I have yet to meet Vanilla Ice, and so many people say that, especially when I got like the hat forward.
Yeah.
We were like, look like Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Like if you search the hashtag, I think it's like Vanilla Durb or Durb. You'll find a bunch of like half-face photos of me and Vanilla Ice, especially when I was younger.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna splice one in right here on the
Yeah, it'd be
podcast.
great. Yeah. Find hashtag vanilla Durb.
Uh, well, let's talk about like one of your newest projects, the tattooer with a sign, right?
Yeah, man, that's taken
Now
off.
you got like two books,
Yeah,
right?
well, we're working on the second book right now. We pretty much got enough. I've done over 200 signs, so it's like 200 messages that have like really kind of taken off, to tell you the truth. When I did my first sign, and there's other people doing signs in different industries. There's like homeless guy with a sign, comedian with a sign, veteran with a sign, grappler with a sign. And so I was seeing those people being able to put out messages that were like relevant to their industry or to the crowd or whatever. So when I started doing tattoo with a sign, I did that first one. It was like, don't call a tattoo machine a gun. And it just took off. And I go, okay, that was a simple way to get a message out that us tattooers, especially like veteran tattooers, want to say either to, the collectors or just the general audience and sometimes to the younger artists too. A lot of them are pointers to clients and to artists and stuff like that. So I put out that first one and I realized this is a great way, and none of the signs are negative. You can't go through what blackout tattoos are just lazy cover-ups. That might be one that was controversial, but I mean, it's not negative. It's funny. So they're funny perspectives on things that tattoo artists want to say. But I think, from a veteran status, I can say those things. And I'm not saying things harsh. I'm just saying things that are real, but putting them in a funny context and putting them on a sign. The best part of the tattoo or the sign that I think is like if you look at the comments and the conversations and the input and stuff like that, it really does spark up a lot of conversations and other people's points and things like that, which is good. So yeah, man, once that took off, a lot of people wanted me to do them at their conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put out the book. We were going to put out some different shirts, for like the industry with like different sayings that I have on signs and come out with like a tattooer with a sign kind of shirt line or whatever. But right now it's just the books because the books are a good way to put into your studio on your coffee table and kind of like before you're even tattooing your client, you'd be like, read this book. I'm going to go set up.
Where are you
Come
selling
back
those
and
at?
they'll
Amazon?
perfectly still. They won't be on their phone all, so it's literally teaching people things too about tattooing or what artists want
Yeah.
clients and vice versa. So yeah,
Those for sale on Amazon?
I've had a lot of people want to buy them. I haven't made them for sale yet. Are you talking about the books?
Yeah, yeah.
No, no, they're just through True Tattoo Supply in Hell City right now. You just get them on our websites. It probably would be good on Amazon
Did
though.
you just print a bunch of them or are you just doing like a print on demand?
We did 200, yeah. So we printed 200 books. Those are already sold. The first version
Okay.
sold. I forget. I think Kingpin or Icon got like 50 of them, and they're selling them as well. So they're in other supply companies as well, because they're good messages. They're vital messages, I think. And I got a lot more coming up too.
Yeah, where do you get
Controversial.
where do you just come up with all the oh,
Boom. A lot of them from my head. I do have people go, "Can you do a sign for this?" And then I'll find a funny way to put what they're trying to say, and so I'll do some based off of, and then I'll have a guest tattooer with a sign. I've had Paul Booth, Dana Brunson, Russ Abbott,
that's smart.
different, Monday Malarkey, all those guys. So
Yeah.
I've had people do their messages too, and those take off really good because everybody's got something to say.
And you just kind of let them have carte blanche. They can say whatever they want, whether
Yeah,
it's controversial or you don't care.
I've had a few people turn, I'm not going to say their names, of things where I was like, no, bro, sorry.
That's too
Like, it's
far.
funny. It's funny on a dark,
Too
but
far.
you got to control your media too. And if it's not a
Yeah,
message
yeah.
that feels appropriate or positive or funny, it just kind of has like a down undertone, I don't put it up, And that's the way I try to do it with everything I do, man. Try to keep like a positive, energy and intention with everything you do, with my shows, my studios, any of that stuff. So I don't want to put out anything negative, That's just
Yeah, yeah.
not good. So all the signs are funny as hell, or they just create conversation and thoughts or something you might not even thought about,
Do you have any ideas that you haven't put out there that you're like what you just said with other people where you're like, nah, man, I can't do that one. It's too much. And you
Yeah,
kind
I
of set it over here on the side. Like later on, you can do a book of like the
mean,
ones that never made the cut.
yeah, the cancel book.
Yeah, the cancel book. Like after you're retired.
One of the funny things after becoming the tattooer with a sign, is some of the younger generation that doesn't really know kind of like what I did with all my tattooing over the decades and shops and just everything I've done over the years. And I'll get photos with some of the younger kids and I'll be like, cool, man, thinking they're gonna be like, sweet, Durb Morrison. And they look and they're like, tattooer with a sign. Thanks, bro. So like some of the younger generation that doesn't know, because the magazines aren't around or
Sure, sure.
on my channels or whatever, they just know me as tattooer of the sign because they get shared. I mean, sometimes those signs have like 400 shares alone, and it's people wanting to probably tell their buddies things, those people trying to show people the signs of what they want to say. So, no, man, I've loved the response I've gotten from tattooer of the sign. I do like one or two a week now. I was doing them like every day for like, a while. But no, that's been one of my fun things, and it's an easy format. Here's the sad thing, and everybody can attest to this as watching. People like the controversial signs better than just kind of like, like, why do you like tattooing? That'll get
Right.
like 700 likes or some shit, like 40 car, or like, what the fuck's up tattooing? Don't be a puss, or like something kind of more extreme. People love it.
Yeah.
So the more extreme signs are like which one just took off. Stop tattooing labubus.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I
That
had some
one,
people. I had one dude on there. It was just like, "This is the dumbest sign. I hate," kind of like anger. And I'm like, "Damn, bro, you're getting mad over labubus? Must
I
have hit
think
a."
it's kind of cool.
Because well, no, I don't mind it at all. No, but it's just a funny. It's like a perspective. I don't mind it at all. That guy probably
Yeah,
literally got done tattooing his labubu, then opened up that, saw that sign. It
yeah.
was all like, ah.
But I'm sure you had a shit ton of comments on that thing.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't even know how many's on the Labubu one right now. Um, probably a bunch. But what? Yeah, okay. So 885,000 views, 1,764, 148 comments, and 282 shares on the Labubu one.
Jesus,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. So yeah, the Labubu sign got a lot
Yeah.
of controversy. And what was the other one recently? It's funny. Tattooing's not slow, which it is. And the one says you're just lazy. That one, and what it
Yeah,
is like, if tattooing's slow, you got to pick the fuck up, get out there, go out and meet people, hand out business cards like we used to have to do, and use social media. I'm telling a lot of people too, like people say tattooing's slow. It's like, unfortunately, we live in a media driven society, industry, everything now. There's not as many magazines. There still are, there's Skin and Ink. Fresh Link just came back, Ink Magazine, Tattoo Society. But you have to rely, that's what I tell people, with tattooing being slow, you have to step it up to be able to get clients, man. Everybody's money is tight. But you have to be on there. Unfortunately, you have to do reels. You got to do a TikTok here and there, whether it's funny or not, you just have to be creating content. And that's the new magazine, So
yeah, it's like I listen to Gary Vee all the time, and Gary Vee's constantly saying, I don't care what you're posting, just make content every day. Just
content.
make content.
Yep, exactly.
Doesn't matter. Just put your phone up and be like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, what's
Post
up?
that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah. A lot of my personal media is like it's my life. I think people are like enamored by kind of like my life and my lifestyle and what I'm into because I'm always doing something exciting, and it's usually geared towards tattooing or jujitsu. So I think people find it pretty interesting. But I'm 52 and I'm still keeping up with the media game. To
hmm
be honest with you, like I think I'm one of the first tattooers to kind of really get into media. I'm one of the first tattooers to really get on TikTok back in the day
Yeah.
and kind of push it because I saw a need for it. I mean, even back in Vimeo days and Vine, MySpace, it all stems back to there. It's all like me learning over the years of doing the social media. I realize how important it is to do it to be able to keep up. I'm not tattooing as much as I used to, but I could stay just as busy if I wanted. If I want to start booking again, stuff like my spine can't take it as much. But I feel that if I just kick up my social media, let's say I do like a live video of me that day, and I'm like, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to draw for about a half an hour this morning. This tattoo will be available for sale immediately after this, and kind of drumming up, thinking of creative ways nowadays. If tattooing's slow, you have to get creative.
Yeah.
And it is slow. I mean, I have Ohio's largest tattoo studio. We've noticed, a slowness as far as, artist booking as much as we used to. It's just natural. You know why? When I started tattooing, there were like a dozen tattooers, maybe 20 tattooers in Columbus. We all knew each other. It was very interconnected. We all hung out. Crazy, And nowadays, there's literally, compared to 20 tattooers, there's probably 600 tattoo artists in Columbus, 800, within all the shops. Each shop has 8 artists, whatever. There's
Yeah,
100
that's
shops,
crazy.
you know, 800
That's
artists.
crazy.
So we used to have a dollar. Now we have a penny because it's diluted 100%.
How many artists are in your shop?
Right now we have 10.
And
Really
everybody,
like
is
that.
everybody staying busy there or is
Yeah,
not?
everybody's pretty booked up. Some artists are busier than others, and I notice the ones that are busier, more booked up, are the ones doing more social media, things like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
everybody stays about a month out. Some of my artists are booked into next year already. So it really depends on the aggressiveness, I think, of the artist and trying to get out there, or the willingness to like let your wall down a little bit and do a fucking just a walk in or just a normal tattoo you wouldn't normally do, like
You getting a lot of walk-in traffic still these days?
we're not really geared towards walk-ins. Red Tree Tattoo Gallery is, excuse me, appointment only, consultation only. We don't have flash racks out or anything like that. So if somebody shows up and they don't even have an appointment, a lot of times we'll just talk to them for a second and say, "This is how we work. We want you to go to our website first, find the artist of style with whatever you're wanting, then reach out to that artist or email us directly with what you're wanting, and then we'll cater you and get you a consultation with that artist." A lot of my artists at Red Tree, there's no hours. Everybody's got their own keys and they come in at their own time. Some people, I think we figured between like Marty Holcomb being there till like 4 a.m. and then Brandon comes in at like 8 a.m. There's only like 4 hours of the day that my shop doesn't have somebody like tattooing in it, you know,
7 days a
for the
week.
most part. Not really 7 days a week, but like during the weekdays. Yeah.
Sure.
Sundays is pretty, it's pretty closed in there stuff too. So, but yeah, everybody seems to be staying busy. But I have heard concerns from artists too, like, "Hey, people aren't booking." I'm like, that's that way everywhere. It's not, it's literally not our shop. It's not you, it's the industry right now being a little slow. It's the economy. It's the delusion of so many artists. They used to be able to have 20 artists to choose from. Now they have 800, and if you're not literally going onto your media and like posting shit every fucking day, the top of your media, pin your tattoos or pin an ad for yourself in your tattoos. You have to think more in a business mind, like we're talking here on the podcast. In times like this, you got to have like a guerrilla tactic mind too. It's like, what do I do? How do I stay busier? And that's creating your own pages, create your own Google business page, your own Yelp page, your own Reddit page, things like that. Get on Reddit, post, write stuff. There's a lot of other platforms outside of Instagram. There's YouTube's another big one. So, but there's ways to get out there during slow times.
What
So,
about reviews? Do you push your clients to leave reviews? Do your artists push their clients to leave reviews?
yeah, I'm hoping my artists are pushing them, but on everybody in all my artists' rooms on their mirror, because typically you're going to get up and be like, there's stickers that are like, "Please send us a review." And it's a QR code that goes to our, so it's like we try to keep it as simple as
So you're
possible.
getting those Google reviews constantly?
Yeah, I don't know about constantly,
I
but
feel like that helps a lot in helping you get exposure on Google when people are searching for tattoo shops in Columbus or whatever, right?
yeah, big time, man. And
If you
there's
got a
some,
lot of reviews, Google's going to kind of push you up towards the top.
yeah, yeah, very true. So that's definitely a strategy. So it's things like that. Thinking like that, though, is it like, I think it's vital during these times when people are feeling, how slow it is and the uncertainty of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of what it is. I mean, even with supply companies, a lot of supply companies, they're seeing a drop in sales because people aren't tattooing as much. So it's this natural kind of balance thing that goes on. So do I think it's going to be that way forever? No. I think things have an ebb and flow. And I think we're in that ebb and flow. And I think it's sometimes when things get too popular, they get undesirable by public.
Yeah, think about social media, since you've been doing it for so long, are you a person that really pays a lot of attention to like algorithms and the time you post and all of that kind of shit? Are you paying attention to all that?
I try to. I try to stay educated because that's always changing too, you know.
Yeah, like every
It
day.
is kind of vital. I mean, I'm not going to post something here. Literally, I'm not going to do a post at like 10:30, 11 at night, even though I think people on the West Coast will still see it. That's half of my audience is already getting ready for bed. The normie people are going to be in bed by like 10:30, 11. So yeah, I do. I pay attention to the hashtagging. I follow certain people on Instagram that work for Instagram that are always just, answering questions, Was it Moseri? I think is his name, Moseri. And he works for, so that stuff is vital because algorithms are real, you know, and knowing like TikTok and stuff like that, knowing their algorithms and how to push it, and that's kind of been one of my things I've taught a lot of artists over the years, how to post and what not to do and things that will fuck up your algorithm and stuff like that too. So, but no, algorithms are real. You got to know business. That's part of business. You got to know how these platforms work.
Right, right.
But everybody's also noticed a decrease in views on all of our media, you know. Seems like I used to get more views back when there was less people on there. So now it's like, again, diluted. So much shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Are any of your social media channels monetized now?
No, I don't have anything monetized. Nope.
Well, it's crazy because like Facebook monetized my personal Facebook page like earlier this year, which was really weird. I mean,
Are
I'm
you
not,
getting paid for it?
yeah, it's really not
Not much.
anything.
That's why I haven't monetized anything personally, because I know a lot of people that do monetize and they get like an $8 paycheck after like 2 months.
I'm doing a little bit better than that. It's like $20 a month, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy. You know what I mean?
Nothing, no,
But it's weird though, because when I go, like, I can look at all the analytics on all my posts,
Hmm.
and for the life of me, bro, I can't figure out how they structure their pay, bro. Because it'd be like, you could have one post that has like a shit ton of likes, but no comments, and you
Hmm.
can make like $5 on that post, right? But then you can have another post that has like 4 likes, but 300 comments,
Well, that's part of the algorithm is they
and
want
then
that.
you'll make like 30 cents. You know,
Oh
and I'm
shit.
like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Tons
And
of
you know
people
what?
are engaging with this, but this one's not paying out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's why I haven't really, I mean, I make money in other ways too, so I'm not like relying on that or anything. But yeah, I think it's because I know there's not much payout that have been like, whatever. Unless you got like 5 million people following you and like something crazy.
But bro, I don't get it. Like TikTok, for example, right? You'll see
That's
all
my
these
that's my biggest platform, believe it or not.
bro, you see all these
Weird.
TikTok people making money, right? Like these people with millions of followers. And then I'm like,
Oh,
do they
art.
base the money on the number of followers you have?
Yeah,
Or
views,
is it the number of engage people engaging? Like how many people like that? Or how many
engagement is
people
truly,
comment?
yeah, engagement's truly the king of all that social media. The more engagement. So TikTok, the way that the algorithm kind of works, I don't know if it's changed, but my TikTok instantly got like 114,000 followers, and people are like, "What the fuck? How'd you do that?" I think it's down to like 108 because I don't use it as much. But I knew from the time TikTok started, there's three platforms. First platform is you launch. I would take that link once it was available and I'd go put it on a photo, not the video. I'd take a photo and I'd go put it on my Facebook. New TikTok up now. Click here. Twitter. New TikTok up. All my platforms and just paste the photo, be like a funny face or whatever. But then they would come over to TikTok. So you have three chances. You got this first platform. The more people you could push to your photo first, it makes it to the second platform, and that's the general public being shown it. Then if it goes viral, then you go to the third, and then it goes pretty much viral at that point. But you can't just post your TikTok and be like, cool, I'm done. No, I would go, and that's how I grew my TikTok so fast, is I would go on all my platforms and get people curious with like a funny photo from the clip, and it would drive that traffic so I'd get to that second platform. And then after that, if it's good enough, I also found that if you put more work into your TikToks and you try to do all this funny choreography shit, it doesn't get as many likes as just being natural, something quick, natural. That's what people want to see. So algorithms are changing in that aspect too. Like right now, they're saying like reels are more powerful, but people want to see you talking. They
Right.
want to see your face, things like
They
that.
want to see real life shit.
Exactly. So now that's where the format is, which will drive your algorithm if you're doing more stuff like that. So you got to
Which
pick
it's re-
trends.
it's been that way for a while, anyways, man. I mean, if you take a page from the book of reality TV, I mean, dude, that's what drove reality TV up so popular because people were just like, "Oh, this is fucking crazy."
They want to see other people's fucking dilemmas and dramas,
Bro, you just
you
want to
know?
see what other people's doing all the
Yeah.
time, bro. Every
Yep.
nosy neighbors, bro. You just always want to know what your neighbor's doing. You know what I mean?
So now we've personified it in social media. You can watch everybody's lives and what they're doing and what they're eating. And I don't know, man. It's a different world. It's a different approach. But as far as tattooers, you got to learn how to use all this shit. You got to know, you got to be present, at least in some way. Even go make a page and put a couple videos up on whatever network. So you're at least on that platform, you
I
know.
think people just get discouraged, bro, because they'll be like constantly posting shit, and either they're not getting followers or they're not getting engagement.
They're not getting what they want. Yeah.
I mean, in the time frame that they think they should, like I'll be on TikTok and I'll be like, dude, why don't we all have fucking millions of followers on TikTok, bro? Everybody just fucking follow each other and let these fucking
Right.
media companies put money in our pockets. You know what I mean? But it's not just about followers. You could have 5 million followers, but if you're not getting engagement on any of your posts, it don't fucking matter.
Yeah, we were just talking yesterday about people like going live and all this live stuff. I don't do a lot of live because I got so much other just shit going on in the background and I'm always interrupted. Um, but people going live, sometimes they'll think it's going to do a lot, and then you'll look at their view count and there's like 12 people watching.
Right.
Then you go to their page and they got like 50,000 followers. Just weird shit, man. I don't know.
Well, and I think a lot of people still pay for followers too, bro, which baffles the fuck out of me. You know what I mean?
Pay for likes. I guess people are paying for likes now too. So you go to somebody and they'll have like 3,000 followers and they got like 5,000 likes on one of their photos. So people could pay for likes. I don't know if people pay, they can pay for followers. I don't know if comments, you could probably pay for fake comments and stuff. But that's so easy to find if you go to the people and you just see that they're like 50 people on their page. No, there's just so there is a lot of like manipulation and illusion sometimes going on because like you said, people are discouraged with how their media is going and they're not getting the likes they want. So what better way to fake it? You know,
Yeah.
and that's one thing I like about actually tattooing. You can't fake art. You can't fake a good tattoo versus a bad one. Or jujitsu, you can't fake like a choke. Like, oh yeah, no.
I
If
know how to choke you out, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to choke you like you're like, cool, bro. There is a lot of there's an imposter syndrome type of shit going on too, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The social media, I think it's not new to us, but it's a ever evolving thing for all of us to be like, what's the algorithm now? What do I do now? Oh, now it's this. This is cool.
Bro, AI is
Or-
changing everything too, dude. Like AI is like fucking like, bro. I'm
yeah.
like, I'm like way into AI, dude, and I'm like, this shit is moving too fucking fast, bro. I can't keep
It's
up.
interesting, you know. And honestly, like if I was an upcoming tattooer at the beginning of my career, I'd be utilizing everything that was available to me. I would still be drawing and working on my personal art, but if I needed like a background or, I would use AI. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you're not copying it like verbatim. Still use AI as reference to create the image you want. There's nothing wrong with that. You know why there's nothing wrong with it? Because that's what the fuck's going on nowadays.
It's just evolution, right?
Exactly. So you'll have people that are pissed off at AI and making fun of artists and this and that, and the stencil line apps and just all that shit. Utilize it. There's nothing wrong with that. You're trying to get to the end product for your client. If you and your client are happy and you're doing good tattooing that's safe and nice, but you need creative input, I wish I would have had some of that shit as a kid, tattooing. You know what I'm saying? Not only would I have probably come up with some dope ass images, I probably would be a better artist because my brain would be going or being shown more possibilities for art. So don't deny AI, don't hate it. You don't have to use it if you don't like it. But if I was a younger tattooer, I would be using AI for stuff. Like I said, I'd still be doing all my original shit, but I would be using it for reference. I wouldn't be against it. and I think it's awesome.
To me, there's not a lot of difference. Well, I mean, obviously from a, you know, functionality standpoint and from a creativity standpoint, it's different. But I've reflected on this even like when I'm thinking about how we use like iPads and Procreate, right? I mean, obviously, a human being is the one that wrote the codes to make Procreate, and it's artists that create brushes and stuff like that for it and whatever. But as an artist that uses it, to me, not having any input in the creation of that, I'm just taking the tool and using it to make my job easier. To
Hmm.
me, that it's not a whole lot different than utilizing AI in the same respect, right? I mean, it's just a tool that's available. It's instead of hand drawing on paper and coloring shit in with pencils and markers, now I'm doing it on an iPad with this nifty little Procreate tool that has all this stuff, and I just touch a pen to the thing, and I want this red, boop, touch there, boop, touch it there, boop, erase these lines, oh, do these layers, take that layer off. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Even
just an
before Procreate, I think the first AI for tattooers was like Photoshop. I've
right.
been using Photoshop for 30 something years. Like, no shit, man. Since my shop's the mid 90s. I think like
Yeah,
late 90s when I started messing with Photoshop. That's the first
yeah,
AI. You know why? Because there were brushes and there were effects I could make using a computer. That's the first AI. And people are still using, like, Photoshop's great to put designs together, kind of get like an image together to then go and do your drawing off of. So I think Photoshop for me was the first AI, and I've been using it for 30 years. I think that's when social media and all this shit came along. I've just utilized it. Um, so Procreate was the next, I think Procreate was like the next true like AI probably for tattoo.
yeah.
And a lot of
What do you
people
think
have a
about?
problem with that too. Like, you're drawing on glass. You're not really drawing. No, you're really drawing. You're just drawing in 2025.
Right, right.
It's like
I
that.
think it's great. I think it's great because, dude, I think back to, fuck, dude, early 2000s. Client comes in the shop.
Yeah.
Hey, I want a lion on a mountain in the jungle, and you're fucking drawing all that shit on paper, and then you may fucking take a half a day to do a drawing, and then you're like, oh, you like this drawing? And they're like, no,
Nope.
actually, I don't like the way that
Yeah.
lion looks.
Hey, man, I just did 5 layovers on my tracing
Right.
paper with this fucking drawing.
you know, and then you're like, fuck, wrinkle it up, go back to the drawing board, man. Sometimes you spend a couple days drawing something before your client's
Yeah.
fucking happy with it.
That's the reality of like my generation of tattooers. Like, we were looking at books and sketching and then doing layout, like tracing paper, loose sketch, lay a piece of tracing paper over it, tighten it up, lay over, and then you got your final line drawing. Oof. Yeah, like you said, if your client doesn't like it, you got to do
Hours of time,
pages,
bro.
hours of time to redo it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So thank
crazy.
God for that technology. From my perspective, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah. And here's something too I want to talk about this with AI, kind of like the older generation, not necessarily me, but even older. Um, like my buddy Dana Brunson. Dana Brunson, we were over in Romania, and he was just talking. He's like, I don't know how these kids are making these leg sleeves and these drawings. And, he's like kind of mesmerized by, he's like, these immaculate faces with this and that. And I'm like, watch this. And I pulled up Chat GPT and I go, hey, Chat GPT, design me a woman's face with a rose and a snake. And I go, there's your sketch. And he goes, God damn, I thought they were drawing all this shit. Kind of like, I'm like, no,
No, bro, I
no.
made that in 20 seconds.
So like, because he doesn't use that, Dana does all
Yeah.
original. But he was almost like, and I'm sure some people feel it's like, how the fuck are people doing all this tattooing and creating these images? It is AI. They're using it, whether or not they're doing what I'm talking about, like changing it. But to the older generation that doesn't know AI, they're going, how the fuck are people making these images? You know, and a lot of it is, and then, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying anything there's wrong with it, but it is kind of an illusion for some of the other people that don't understand it at the same time. And I think they feel Dana doesn't. Dana's doing his own thing, but some artists probably feel discouraged because they're not either utilizing it, or they're not able to make those images, or they're not able to tattoo the same. That's another clearly, clear thing. But
You
there's,
mean tattoo the way the picture looks?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Gotcha.
So, so at that point, it's going to be the quality of the tattooer and the artistic, skill at that point. But no, it's a good thing with the whole AI thing. I think it's out there. I think you should utilize it, not be afraid of it, but don't rely on it for your final image as well. Stay an artist, stay a true artist. Use things that you can put into your designs. But no, so we're in that age and that era. We're in the social media era, and you can't deny any of that shit. You either gotta join them or fall behind, kind of like that type of thing. It's a lot of fucking work. It's a lot of
Oh
work.
yeah, dude, crazy.
Man, it just burns people out. And then if they're not getting results, it feels like you're just like, because sometimes a damn post, what do you, let's talk, everybody talk about what you do with a post. Find your image, make your video, whatever, put it out, and then you go, now I got to write something crafty. So there's all these other steps, and then I got a hashtag, and then I got to put music to it, and then I got to collaborate. So there's a lot of these steps that I think people don't either have the patience for, you know, and then if you do all that, it takes you sometimes one post of mine will take me 20, 30 minutes just to get together,
Oh yeah.
save draft, come back to, like things like that. So if you're not willing to sacrifice some of the time and what I call is like solidarity too, you need to almost kind of step aside and do your work. So no, I think it's an interesting time in tattooing in many ways. And one of them is AI, definitely.
How do you think it's going to make the next 5 years of tattooing look? What do you think it's going to look like in 2030?
2030?
Just at the speed that everything's moving at now. You know what I mean? Fuck, dude, they got goddamn machines out tattooing on people now. You see that
Mhm.
fucking collab Bang Bang just did with Black Dot, right? Now
Oh,
Bang
did he?
Bang's got one in his shop. Yeah,
Christ. I mean, it's part of it.
yeah.
That's literally like the thing. It's like,
I mean, that's 2025, and there's a robot out there tattooing on people, bro. How's that going to evolve in the next 5 years?
what are you gonna do when you walk into a shop and there's a humanoid looking robots that are just like waiting for you to sit down and be like, and it looks like a fuck.
That's fucking gonna happen, bro. I think that's fucking gonna happen.
I know it is gonna happen.
It's
What
gonna
the
be,
fuck
they're
am
gonna
I
be at
not?
the fucking restaurants when you go to fucking order your food. Hello, how can I help you?
Dude, living out in Vegas, man, because I live in Vegas too. A lot of those restaurants have robots that will bring you drinks and
Bro, they
appetizers.
got robots going around grocery stores scanning the fucking shelves and shit.
And you know what? That's the world we live in. Love it or leave it. Love it or deny it, you know. So with Bang Bang using the machine in a shop in New York, man, that's cool. If you can take it to the next level, if it
That's what I mean. I wonder what the
but
next
then the
level.
major argument is like you're losing the human interaction of tattooing, which to me has been one of the, I've always said that. I like the camaraderie between client and artist. I like the
Yeah.
stories I get to hear and kind of like be not the therapist, but like be Dr. Durb and talk to people and hear their stories. So you're gonna miss if you want tattooed by a robot, cool. That's collective, it's pretty dope.
What do you think AI does to art in general? Just
Not
like,
like getting tattooed by an artist.
yeah, yeah. What do you think AI does to the just the general art world? Like, for example, like classical art. If you want a fucking Van Gogh now, bro, you can just fucking go print one off and fucking frame the bitch up and hang it in your fucking house.
Creates illusions, if that makes sense. Creates illusions that somebody did a nice painting, by hand or any of that stuff. Just like AI, even with like people's faces and voices and shit. It's creating illusions. It's creating like this false narrative almost, you know. I see AI being essential in some ways, but as far as trying to replicate things to fake people out to make you think they're a good painter, it's not a human doing it. So it's just whether you
But,
look at computers as humans and humans as.
but bro, I think it'll go there, man. I think, bro, it'll go so far as to be like, I could take a fucking picture from the fucking internet that I generate in Chat GPT or Mid Journey or wherever the fuck.
Yeah.
I think eventually I'll be able to upload that somewhere and turn that fucker into an actual oil painting, right? Like
With the fucking machine that'll make the
they'll
strip.
have a fucking machine that'll just fucking take that picture and turn it into a goddamn oil painting on fucking canvas.
Let me ask you, what would be more valuable in a fine art gallery, a painting made by a robot or a painting made by a human? What's
Well,
gonna
a
have?
fine art gallery for sure. There's no
Oh, but
question.
what if it's just an acceptable form of art? Like, yeah, computer art, yeah, they're artists too. And you're like, no, motherfucker's a program. No,
Bro,
person
I
too.
don't
It made this, so it's as valuable as your art. No, a human. So I think the human energy into art.
dude, I'm an artist at heart, so I'm always trying to look at art from a very open mind, because art can be different to whoever's perspective it is looking at it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, bro, I look at shit and I'm like, what? Somebody paid $1 million for a fucking
Yeah.
banana duct tape to a fucking wall, bro? Like,
They did.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
Just like,
exactly. Or that Banksy. Remember that one painting sold for like $1 million? It's shredded.
yeah, bro.
Yeah, I
Banksy's
love
another
it.
thing, though, dude. I'd pay $1 million for a Banksy, bro. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like
Yep.
straight.
Yeah.
But I don't
Just
fucking, some of it I don't get, dude. Like, I
yeah.
don't get the hit and miss part, bro.
Yeah. And it's here. It's just part of it. I personally will only buy art from a human, you
Well,
know,
yeah, yeah.
but
But some people don't seem to care about that. And I think the point that I'm trying to make is I think as we advance, it's getting more and more like that. So I feel like actual artists that are actually spending fucking 80 hours to do a fucking painting, it's gonna be
obsolete.
obsolete, bro.
That's scary.
That's the part that worries me, right?
Everything's going to get diluted then.
Movies, music, bro. Did you just see
No,
that
they're making
fucking
AI movies now, everything. Yeah.
dude,
It's going to
Hollywood?
cross over into every industry, especially anything visual, with these
I'm just
visual.
waiting for the first AI generated full feature movie to come out, bro.
I think there's already one out or they're working on one right now. I
Like
just,
that's like 2 hours long.
yeah, like a full AI generated movie. Yeah. Actors, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that
Already,
yet.
it's either out or what the fuck was it? But no, I mean, no, we're going to get to that point, and it's going to be this line of illusion versus reality, like I'm talking about. Like, is that AI? Is that real? Did you really paint that? Who painted that? Like in
Right.
18035, that dude.
Yeah, that's what I mean, bro. It's
Yeah,
like, dude, you
it's
could you could go online, create a false identity, social media profile, and be an artist and just upload AI art all fucking day, every day,
I probably get a following.
and probably get a following. And
Damn,
bro, for
there's
example,
pages out there like that. People doing that
dude,
all the time
for example,
on the Mid Journey.
this is a controversial one. Maybe not so much for you, but you kind of delve into this a little bit, but you take it to a different level. So I'm not including you in this necessarily. But when that pour paint stuff first hit, like I'm talking like 4 or 5 years ago when it got viral and everybody was fucking just pouring paint on canvas and tilting their canvases and making funky
No
designs, right?
objective with it.
Yeah, I mean, bro, it was like people were making
So
these
many people
paintings and
became
like,
artists.
yeah, people were doing this shit in like 5 minutes and selling them for like 40, $50 a piece, right? And I'm like, that's fucking crazy, dude. That's not fucking art.
Yeah.
Like you're
When I,
literally dumping a fucking blob of paint on a fucking canvas and like,
yeah.
but now I said I don't include you in that because you've gotten way fucking, you've just taken it to a whole different level. Your shit's crazy,
Yeah. Thank you.
but
No,
like,
I know what you're saying. So when I started doing pour art or trying to learn pour art and stuff like that, my time's so much more limited as an artist and a business guy and traveling, father, grandfather, like all that, that when I started doing pour art, I was like, this is cool. Like you said, I got a painting done pretty quick, but it didn't feel like I really created anything. So over the years, I started being like, I like this fucking style of painting because I can like cover a lot of canvas quick, but the true artist, like the fine artist in me felt, generic, I guess at that point, just pouring it and just being like, oh, watch fucking. So I started actually like placing the pour art where I want, creating these kind of like loose images. And then I've learned techniques. I've actually thought about releasing a acrylic pour art tool set of mine that are different drag tools and ways that I get these effects and I can drag paint into other paint. So I can do like, let's say skull, I can do two, black areas, boom, throw some color. And then I'll sit and I'll fucking start dragging the pour art and drawing with the pour art to make it more like a fine art that I can
to like define the teeth and the features and stuff like that.
exactly. And I'm still keeping it loose and somewhat abstract, but I've actually created, from what I know, I've got the only style of anybody doing it like I'm doing it right now. So 2 years later of just learning how it moves and how it like overlaps, and if I drag this one over that or that one, so really kind of educating myself to know like, all right, I'm going to use this medium, but I want to create skulls and trees and bugs and art. with it. And dude, I'll tell you what, man, like I even just with this last year, I probably sold like 50 paintings,
Yeah.
like shit tons of them, man. The ones I wanted to hold were the ones that people wanted immediately too, like the lightsaber ones that I was doing and stuff.
Yeah, those are sick.
You know, I'm kind of bummed those sold, but at the same time, you can't hold on to all your art. You know, you got to put it out there and let people collect it. That's what kind of makes your art more valuable too, is when more collectors are out there with your art. You know, so just this past year, I've probably literally sold like probably 50 of those paintings. And I'm working on an art show for downtown Columbus at a place called Lemongrass, you know, things like that. So I've enjoyed it, but I did feel very generic at first, you know,
Yeah,
with,
yours are cool because they're all readable objects and they're detailed like I said, it's a whole different level.
yeah,
Whereas like a lot of those people, like I said, they're just dumping globs of paint on and then they're just coming up with some abstract looking thing.
yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, that took you 10 minutes. That's not fucking worth 40
You sold
fucking
it for
bucks.
10,000, you asshole.
Right. That's not what the fuck, dude. Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so art as a medium in general, it's just not what it used to be when, when I grew up in school and just learning to appreciate fine art, going to museums and,
yeah,
standing in front of a freaking Picasso looking at it for a
real
fucking hour. You know what I mean? Just like
knowing that every dot
everything, dude.
by a person's hand, like
You
with the
just don't get
brain.
that anymore, bro. It's just fucking crazy to me.
Yeah,
Those are the paintings that are like so that's why there's so much fucking money, bro.
yeah,
And so then when you see somebody do some stupid shit that took like a couple hours, you're like, what the fuck?
yeah. And I'm not fooled by it because I know every process of it. I used to do the abstract, just blob stuff, just to see how it was fucking working. So when I see it, I'm just like, really? Because now I can like make images with it. Yeah, I don't rely on just be like done.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you take somebody like Banksy, right? I mean, Banksy's worth so much just because of the mystery around the artist. You know what I mean? It's like, how the fuck does he pull this shit off that he pulls off?
Yeah, who
How
the
do you
fuck
fucking
is
set a
Banksy?
zoo up in the middle of New York City overnight, bro?
Because I don't know. Who knows what Banksy is? Some people say it's a group of people too,
Yeah, it's gotta be.
you know, that are just different street
Yeah.
are part of one collective, probably. I know I was in New Orleans and they found a wall that Banksy had painted. It was like a girl on like an inner tube, like a raft, and it was during the New Orleans floods that he went down there and did that as a piece for New Orleans, like survival. And then somebody fucking painted over it. Yeah. And then somebody found that wall or whatever and knew that Banksy was under there. So when I was in New Orleans last Halloween, I happened to be at this hotel where there was this unveiling of this unseen like Banksy piece. And it
Oh,
was,
they uncovered it?
yeah. So this lady developed a new product and she says she sat by finger and just removed layer by layer down until she got to the Banksy part and would wipe it.
Holy
She
fuck,
spent
dude.
months upon months like uncovering a Banksy original that was in New like a classic one that was in New Orleans. Somebody came or rolled over or who knows what.
Wow. Did
Yeah.
you hear the other one about the New Orleans stunt that he pulled off where he like
Uh,
he did like I don't know, maybe it was like 10 or 15 prints or like original, like maybe like 14-inch prints or whatever.
yeah.
And he set like a homeless guy up on the fucking street corner there selling them for like 40 bucks a piece.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Remember? Did you hear that?
Yeah. Fucking genius, man.
Yeah, dude. So a bunch of people got Banksy's for like 40 bucks, bro, and they're all worth like $1 million.
Wow. That's insane. You know, but to me, that's like true art with emotion and meaning and like his
I
art.
emailed him one time because I was developing a product years and years ago. It was called Bomb Balm. It was like, way years ago. It was like a tattoo bomb, like the first thing I was trying to create.
Yeah.
And it was called Bomb, like BOMB, Bomb Balm.
Uh-huh.
And Banksy has this artwork where this girl's hugging this nuclear bomb. You seen that one?
I if I saw it, I'd probably
So
remember it.
I went to Banksy's website. I messaged, I said, hey, I want to use this image on a product. What would it take to license this or whatever? Can I get a license to use it? He's like, I don't give a fuck. You use my artwork, dude. It's on an open market. You know what I mean? Like, use it. It's like,
Damn.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit, bro. Like he puts his artwork out there and he doesn't like, I don't think he's ever one of those guys that's going to
Yeah,
come
not at
after
all.
somebody for using his artwork for a project or something, right?
As hell, actually.
It
Yeah.
is cool, bro. Like he doesn't give a fuck about the money.
Yeah, because nowadays you got people copyrighting their images and going after people and, legalities behind artwork, which is, somebody's profiting off of it. But for his approach, just to be complete like guerrilla artwork, you
Yeah.
just be out there doing a damn thing.
I never used the image, but I kept the fucking email.
Yeah.
You know what I
Take
mean?
you right in your bag. Yeah.
I was like, that's
Hey,
fucking
who are
cool.
you?
Yeah, it was fucking cool, bro. I was like, damn, that's cool. He's not gonna sue me.
Well, you've done a lot of products over the years too. So that was like one of your first ones.
I never released that product. But yeah, it was one of the first ones that I was gonna develop. But I just never did. Because aftercare is like one of those, I say it all the time. I'm like, why would you ever come out with another fucking aftercare product? You know what I mean? There's too fucking many of them already.
A lot. Yeah, it is kind of flooded, you know. You
Well,
gotta
I
have
think that's like a huge problem in our industry already, dude. Oversaturation, right? Across the fucking board.
when everybody's trying to make products out of everything. They're trying to,
Well, not
profit.
even they're not even making them, bro. It's just the same thing as art. The discussion that we just had on art, bro. It's like people aren't even being creative in the space, man. It's like they're just taking the shit you did and fucking slapping a new label on it and calling it their own fucking shit and then acting like it's some fucking thing that just broke the fucking mold, bro. It's like, dude, that fucking thing's been done
We
75
added
times. You know?
orange jojoba. Ours is different. We got the jojoba.
We put it in a different jar, dude.
No, no, no. Ours is a glass jar, bro. Theirs is plastic,
It's
right?
like, yeah, dude, it's just that's the thing that annoys me the most is the lack of creativity in the creative process, bro. It's just
And what is this? This is finding the comedy within the tragedy, kind of. The comedy within the tragedy of what's going on with the
well, it's
industry.
just a total cannibalization of an industry, bro. It's just sad, you know. Nobody can make a fucking dollar, bro. It's like the
But
tattoo
sure.
industry's big, but it's not that fucking big. You know what I mean?
And you're hearing it. People are struggling. You hear tattoo artists getting other jobs now.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
I
Crazy.
mean, dude, I don't ever want to shit on anybody that's trying to make a better life for themselves, and if you're great, but just be fucking original, man. You know, that's all.
Well, that's what's going to stand out
You
first.
know, just
If not, you're blending in with the sheep.
just be original. You know, it's like I don't know why people gotta, you know, fuck, dude, I mean, look at
Well,
all the different brands of aftercare now, and just break them down and tell me what's different about them.
yeah, nothing. Yep. No, it's like that's where we are with the industry. It's trying to stand apart and do different things. Like with between Hell City, True Tattoo Supply, Red Tree, any of that shit. I try to do things that are different. I try not to bite people. So like when, my first products and stuff like that, they True Grips, those were never seen. I'm like the first guy to ever bring memory foam grip covers into tattooing ever. And that's the way I like to think is I like to keep things original and try to present new ways of thinking or new products like we're talking about. Um, you know, I think I always say it's the age of reinvention for things, reinventing some of the products or making them better, has been a big thing within tattooing. That's what we're seeing. We're talking about aftercare. We're talking about pen machines. We're talking about tattoo pigments. A lot of people are making a lot of different products nowadays. What can you reinvent at this point with tattooing? Not sure. It could be the lighting. It could be, there's always somebody working on reinventing something within tattooing. When I first started what is now True Tattoo Supply, it started out as just as True Tubes. And my thought, okay, so I didn't, being a tattooer, there's like these two different things. So being a tattooer, you get a lot of respect, a lot of personal respect. It's a one-on-one type of thing. So I came up with my first product and I was like, cool, man, I'm going to make this product and then I'm going to distribute it to other supply companies. And I'm not going to be a supply company. I just want to invent from a tattoo artist and make it available for supply companies to sell. Same with True Grips, invented those and they were new products. You quickly learn that being a tattoo artist and the amount of respect that comes from being a tattooer, that's not there with products. It's not there as far as people biting your products, waiting for you to drop your next product so they can bite it and relabel it and put it in a different box, kind of like we're talking about with aftercare. It's up to I guess, the industry to support the people that they know are the inventors of the products. and truly support those people rather than supporting the supply company that knocks off people's products and stuff like that. So, but that happens with any industry that grows beyond just the artists. It's not just tattooers anymore. It is entrepreneurs and business people and corporate and all this shit trying to make a buck off of what used to be this, so everybody's still eating at the egg. Um, so when I started doing products, I realized like, oh shit, this is a dirtier side of tattooing is doing the products, and things like that because you can't just copy somebody's tattoo style as easy as you can like a product. If that makes sense. You can, but what I always say too is back in the day when, people were copying people's tattoos out of magazines and then republishing them to other magazines. And those people were printing, like a Guy Aitchison original that somebody fucking copied, and then this gets in the magazine, and then it just gets regurgitated, But
That's fucking crazy.
so as tattooers, when we started seeing that a lot, it was like a sin. Like any tattooer copying Guy Aitchison's work, verbatim, it was a sin. You don't support those artists.
Yeah, that's shunned, bro.
So with tattoo products, it's different because you would think that that would be the case is like support the original, support the people, don't, but it's too thick of an industry now, man. You can't control any of that shit. So you got people just literally just looking at what other people are doing. This has been not a curse of my career, but a big thing in my career is I've always done new innovative shit. You guys have seen it all these decades. I'm always doing something new that makes me like, damn, that's fucking cool. Whether it's the signs or the products or the conventions and events and you know. But products are different.
Well,
You know,
now it's even on a whole new level, bro. Like
well, you got
now,
corporate companies
now,
buying stuff like
now, now, dude, you could invent a product. You take it to a factory to have it manufactured, right? Now, that
they're gonna,
fucking factory, bro, is
yep,
taking your shit
and pitching it.
and pitching it and fucking selling it direct to
Mhm.
your fucking customers through their own fucking websites, bro. Like it's fucking bad.
Yeah,
It's a real
exactly.
big fucking problem.
Yeah. So the people that own tattooing are the manufacturers of tattoo equipment. You can't make your tattoos without that equipment. Supply companies can't sell equipment without the manufacturers of the equipment. So the real top dog in tattooing is the manufacturer of equipment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of it's in China, which we're all trying to change with, more American made. I reached out to America to switch all my products to American made. It's 5 times as expensive to make a disposable product that nobody's going to buy, 5 times as expensive. Some of the
Right.
American companies, hate to say it, wouldn't even reply to fucking emails.
Right.
We had to literally, for some of these American companies, we had to go onto their business email or their website and get like 10 different email addresses to put it into one email so they all couldn't hide from somebody sending them an email like, oh shit, 9 more of my colleagues saw this email. I have to reply now. And we started finding this strategy where we couldn't get ignored as much. But when it came back to it, I hate to say this, but American manufacturing is fucking expensive. It's slower. The American response time's slower, and it's tragic. It's unfortunate, you
It
know.
is unfortunate. And it's funny too, because in theory, everybody seems to think it's just real simple. Oh, well, just stop making shit in China. Oh, fuck, dude, if I could, I would, bro. Like right
Yeah.
fucking now. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like it ain't that fucking simple.
And it's not just tattooing saying that. It's not us sitting here saying something that nobody's heard. It's not a fucking fact. It's every industry, all your home
Everything, bro.
products, everything, man. So it's kind of pathetic, but like that's who owns tattooing. I mean, artists truly own it as far as like pushing the art, but as far as like
The
what's going
products,
on, yeah, the manufacturers,
the
like,
tools we use. Yeah.
yeah, because you can. I mean,
Outside of ink, ink's a pretty safe space still. I
ink is a
mean,
safe space, definitely, definitely. You know,
buddy, yeah, fuck, dude. It's crazy, man.
yeah, but
So 30 years, bro. I mean, that's how long you've been in now, right? 30?
I started my first okay, so tattooing, as far as making tattoos, I was 13 years old. So what's that, 39 years? What on
Professional, though.
professional right out of high school, 18 years old. So it's been what, 30. 33 years, 35 years professionally now, something like that. So it's like,
So I said it last week. I had Stacy Ray on last week, and I said, Stacy, I hate to tell you, but we're the old school now. You know, I'm like,
our,
and she's like, that's fucked up. I was like, hey,
it is.
it's the fucking truth. You know, we are the next generation of
Yep.
artists now.
I got gray hair for no reason, man.
Yeah, bro.
So I'm 52 now. So yeah, technically, like, I mean, I'm the age when I was meeting like Lyle Tuttle and those guys.
We're those guys now.
Yeah, now I'm that age when I met
Yeah,
Tuttle and Eddie and all those dudes. They were like in their 50s, late 50s, whatever,
yeah.
you
And
know?
now we're those guys.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Really crazy. I was at the Villain Arts in Cincinnati, and it was like me and Troy Temple, we're up on stage getting ready to judge, and Carl grabbed the microphone and it was in front of his honor. It was awesome. But it was in front of like a whole room, packed room of people, and they were like kind of talking like that, like, hey, a lot of our old legends are starting to pass, Jack and Kate and all this. And he goes, there's a new lineage coming up that's representing tattooing, and he mentioned me in Troy, right there. And I was just like, it's a fucking honor. And I feel like I have carried the flag for tattooing in a lot of really good ways. So to hear that, it was also a reality of being like, fuck, God damn it. One of the old timers.
Yeah, bro.
But I
It's
also
okay,
feel
man. It's a badge of honor, bro. You know, it really is.
one of the keys of life is as you're getting older is not to like get down about yourself getting older.
Yeah.
Accept every stage and just be like, it's part of it, man. You go through it, I go through it, and not getting depressed or down on getting older. Look back at what the fuck you've done and be like, yeah, this is life. Yep, my
Oh,
hips
it's a
hurt.
legacy, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It takes a
exactly.
lifetime to create a legacy, and you should be proud of the legacy that you've created. So,
Yeah, I've tried really hard to educate, to inspire, to paint positive, tattooing in a positive light form. Even with like Health City and stuff, that's a way for people to come beyond television and the magazines to experience like tattooing on their own, but with like the artist. We're not a bunch of bikers and ruffians and stuff like that. We may look like it. But when you come into like Hell City or my shops, you realize it's just creative young artists that are fun, that are having fun, that are polite. So I love that about tattooing. I love to change people's opinions about it.
so in that 35 span of time so far, Derb, like, what are some of the key moments in your career that have really like defined you or like changed your course direction in your career? You know, like what
Well,
are some of those times?
yeah, well, I mean, back in the days, I started getting published in International Tattoo when I was 19 years old, and then that I kept getting published and sending in a lot of work. So I'd say that time definitely changed my career. It made me become like a household name in tattooing, and people were seeing, my stuff. I would say like in my early career, the magazines were a defining moment of like getting out there because then I go to conventions and I still get like stacks of magazines that like people have that are old. And I look through them. I'm like 19 years old in them, 20, like young as
Nah.
fuck. So I'd say that's a really big defining point in my career, younger, you know. Um, then it went into like my mid 20s when I was doing, I think it was 29 when I did Hell City, the first Hell City. So opened up my first shop 22 after working, for Sailor Moses and stuff like that and traveling. And then Hell City was 2002, and that allowed me to, I guess, have a name in tattooing as far as like a promoter and an event and stuff like not just an artist. Like, oh shit, Durb's branching out. That was the first time I like outside of my shops really like branched out to do something within tattooing. That was 2002. So that was a really defining moment as far as like the next step in my career, I guess, outside of just being a tattoo artist, been a tattoo promoter and organizer. Um, and after that, I mean, a defining moment too is being a father, outside of tattooing is like having different responsibilities and like, oh shit, okay. And it gives you like reasons to work. Um, and then after Hell City, it obviously would be True Tattoo Supply. Um, well, hold on. Actually, I opened up Stained Skin in 1994. That was my first shop. So I'd say that was a defining moment too, because that was the sixth ever tattoo shop in Columbus, Ohio. Now there's like 120 or something like that. So I opened up the sixth shop in Columbus, Ohio.
Was it just you then?
It was me and a guy, Sparky, Bill Rector, you know. It was just two artists, and it turned into like 8 artists, and I rented out the second side. We grew a lot back then. So that was a defining moment. And then Hell City, 2002, you know, and that's still going great. And then starting to do products. So when I started doing products, people were like, oh shit, Durb Morrison just came out with a steel tip disposable tattoo tube. What the fuck? And I came out with this whole line of True Tubes, you know, and then added onto that with True Grip. So I'd say my next legacy or step up would have been like the supplies and the supply company, you know. And then I sold Stained Skin, my original shop, sixth shop ever in Columbus. I sold that to go tattoo privately, man, and to work on products and my show and just not be distracted. So I literally set up a home studio. There's no shame in that. I had a whole separate sterilization. It was dope. A lot of people didn't even want me to go back into a shop because the home studio was so nice. I got so much fucking tattooing done. I was tattooing so much, man, and not interrupted. No phones ringing. End of the day, I could turn my light off, sit down my art tape. You know, I got a lot of shit done and a lot of stuff too. Like because I didn't have to babysit artists, I didn't have to do anything. I worked on Hell City even more. I developed more products, worked on that, you know. So that solitude of not running a street shop for like 8 years, you know, really allowed me to take that step up to where I'm at now. And then I went and I opened up Red Tree Tattoo Gallery. And I was sitting here tattooing privately for like, you know, years. And I was like, I love this, but I do miss the camaraderie and the, you know, the talk between tattoo artists and stuff like that and seeing other clients and other artists. So I go, I want to open up a shop that's appointment only, kind of like I was here, appointment only. So I'd have to deal with tons of walk-in, like my old street shop I got rid of. Um, and I want to keep younger artists busy with the overflow. I was getting, dude, I was probably getting 20 emails a day back then, people wanting tattooed. I was like, I can't keep up with everything. And it's almost maddening because you got to pick one you want to do. So I go, I want to open up a custom studio using true tattoo stuff, true tubes and grips and the needles and all the stuff I had been working on. And I want to nurture younger artists that have potential and put them in a direction with their art and their tattooing that'll make them successful. So while they're using my products, obviously, I had all this, you know, tie together of cool shit. So, you know, some of my artists were like Adam France, who we all know now is like one of the best bio tattooers out there. But when Adam started working for me, you know, 15, 16 years ago, he was doing like, he was kind of all over the place, doing really nice tattoos, but he's doing like horror stuff, you know, like portraits and traditional, but his bio was strong and it wasn't a lot of people doing it, you know, Guy, Aaron, all those guys.
He hadn't really landed on that style completely yet.
And so what I do with my artists, like Adam, with all of them, I go, you're this guy. This is who you're going to be at my shop because this is what's the most successful. You're doing this great. You need to focus on this more. And it just nurtures these artists. If it was a street shop, I'd be like, yo, take that, take that, take that, whatever the fuck walks in. But from where Red Tree Tattoo Gallery is, it's an art gallery with tattoo artists, not tattooers, knocking out street stuff. So it allows my artists to focus on that style. And then their clients seek them out. So they get a bigger following for that type of, you know, like Paul Booth or Guy, they get specific followings for that look of tattooing.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of The Business of Tattooing. Now, let's talk some real business. You're already using Electrum products. You're already tagging Electrum products because you love Electrum products. But why aren't you getting paid for using and tagging Electrum products? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because you haven't signed up to Electrum Insiders yet. But now you can, and it's real easy. Just scan this QR code on your screen or go to electrumsupply.net today to learn about Electrum Insiders and how you can earn cold hard cash for doing what you're already doing. We want to thank you at Electrum for using our products, so we created the Electrum Insiders program exclusively for artists just like you. So don't hesitate. Get on over to electrumsupply.net today and start earning money for the content that you're already creating. Now, let's get back to this week's episode.
You know, so from tattooing privately to the Red Tree, that was kind of like the culmination, was to take some time off from being distracted to work on Hell City more, develop products, and then to reopen and nurture younger artists that are wanting to learn and develop, clientele. So that's kind of where it all started with the products. Let's go back to that. The true tubes and the grips. I just wanted to be products. I didn't want to be a supply company. But like I said earlier, with the products being kind of like more of a dirty side of the industry and people copying your shit, not caring, I go, oh, you guys want to be me. You want to rip off my products and things I was trying to do on my own. Now you're going to make me be you. And now I'm a supply company. When my intention wasn't originally to be a supply company, and I'm very serious about my supply company now that I took it on, but my intention was just to provide products to other suppliers, not to get ripped off, not to have, oh, you guys know who you are, rip me off.
Just to have the support from your peers.
Yeah, my mentality is like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm tattooing. I'm a tattooer. I've done a lot for tattooing. People are going to support me. They want what you have, So my illusion or delusion um, was that people were going to like buy my products, and I was going to invent products for supply companies. They started trying to be me, and it made me be like, all right, cool. Well, you're taking my sales now. You're taking some of my grips. Now I got to sell needles. Now I got to sell ink. And true tattoo supply is growing a lot. You've seen it grow over the years, and I'm very careful what I add to the catalog, only, quality stuff. But I saw the difference between tattoo artist and tattoo supplier are two different things, you know.
Yeah, what was your motivation ultimately in the beginning for wanting to do a convention? I mean, what drove you down that path?
Seeing the shortcomings of other conventions back
And
then.
there weren't a lot out back then either.
There weren't like a ton of conventions, but man, I was looking at some of the conventions that I was working. I was like, why don't I have a trash can by noon? Electric's not hooked up. I got this client waiting. I started seeing like where there wasn't an intent artist focus. It was more like, I just want to put on a show, look cool, you know? So when I went into Hell City, I was like, fuck that, dude. Like top tier artists only, direct artist focus. Like we over provide for the artists so they're comfortable with shit. So I think that being an artist and experiencing some of the other shows that were going on back then, I was like, this needs to change a little bit. And I think conventions, whether they've taken a note out of our book over the, last whatever, 20 something years, 23,
They
24.
definitely have. I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound pompous, but I know they have. I've
Yeah, yeah.
created an example for people to look at and be like, hey, this is how it should be, and it really does. We see tattoo conventions being a lot different than they were back then, entertainment quality, artist focus, events, just all that stuff. So
Why'd you land on Hell City? What was that name? Where'd that
Hell
come from?
City, yeah, Hell City was originally a tattoo line of clothing. So when I had like stained skin back in the day, and I said I had like two sides open, one was like piercing and like clothing, and it was one of the first like tattoo t-shirt lines of clothing back then at all. Like literally, I don't know, but it was called Hell City Industries. And that was our t-shirt, but it was all different tattoo artists we had like 20 shirts that were up on the walls back then that you could buy and all this shit.
Different artist designs on them?
Yeah. So some
Okay.
of them were for me, but some were like other friends, Greg D, Matt
Yeah,
Perrell,
yeah.
different people did shirts for us, including myself. And it was Hell City Industries. And I was screen printing with a buddy of mine. We owned all the equipment, but when that kind of dissolved, he took the equipment because I was done screen printing. I kept the name Hell City Industries. It sat on my stained skin. It used to be like the stained skin neon. It said Hell City Industries under it. People were like, what is that? And it used to be my clothing company. And then when I was thinking of names for a convention, originally it was going to be the Capital City Arts and Music Fest. What? And then I was looking at that neon. I was like, Hell City. And I was just kind of like, I still own that name. And then I was just like, that's catchy. Hell City Tattoo Fest. And then the first time I saw it, or said it, that second, it's like kind of rang out. And I was like, it's got a nice ring to it. It's kind of not controversial, but it makes you be like, what? And then it just took off.
No, it's great. I mean, it works out well because you have it in Columbus and you put that Columbus moniker on there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Just a little
catchy.
play on words and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It's good. You can do a lot of stuff with Hell City, so that worked out great. And
But it all started from wanting to just do better shows and to just be sick of dealing with certain things at shows where you're like, they weren't artists, so they didn't know what we needed particularly, I think,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So,
So how much has changed like from what was the very first year show like? I mean, and like if I'm going back in time and I'm looking at a show that I just attended Columbus this year in 2025, so
yeah.
what's the difference between a 2025 show in aesthetics and performance from that first year show? How much different has it?
I mean, we came out of the gates swinging pretty good, like our first show went off real good where people were like, whoa, what is that? What's Hell City? Because it was like so much different. And um, I mean, things that have changed from when I started doing Hell City is like now we're two level. It used to just be one ballroom and like a foyer. Now we have like two more ballrooms, two levels. We have live painting rooms. So it's literally like over twice as big as it was when it originally started. Visually, I've added a lot of, like the circus banners, and the way I look at tattoo conventions are like tattooing is such a visual business. Your show should be somewhat visual. It should look like you put some work into it, not just throw a table on a stage with a 4x4 backdrop that's vinyl and it's all wrinkled,
Right, right.
So I
Yeah,
started like the overall appearance of tattoo conventions, like artist focus is a huge one. Our main concern is making sure our artists are taken care of.
sure.
Um, but yeah, and then the entertainment, I knew like I think I'm one of the first shows to ever have like burlesque and stuff like that, even back then, Suicide Girl burlesque and all that stuff that we had. Um, we had a lot of seminars, back then, like pack seminars back then too. And that was like the beginning of education and things like that. You don't see as many people in seminars now because education's prevalent. It's everywhere.
You don't even really see seminars so much at all anymore, I don't feel like.
I'm doing a bunch of like little like 10-minute seminars when I go to France for their show every day. I'm
Yeah.
like just like 10-minute talks about artist health and stuff like that, but on the main stage. So formats are changing. Seminars are more conducted, it seems, at seminar conventions, you know,
Yeah, like Explorer and stuff
or
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like it's turned into almost like not different platforms, but different, um, events to promote or to educate. So you're not seeing as many seminars at tattoo conventions because not as many people attend them at the conventions because they want to be out hanging out or getting tattooed or drinking or hanging out with buddies or competing. Seminars are now their own events that you can go and just focus on education and absorbing without being distracted to get back out to your buddies hanging out.
So what year did you add the Phoenix show?
First Phoenix was 2008. So I'd
Oh, so
already
not
been in
not
Ohio going for 6 years.
so not too far down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was,
And
yeah.
why'd you pick Phoenix? I mean, what was the draw?
So, yeah, Phoenix has a huge modification community, especially back then, 2008, tattooing and, Steve Hayworth being out there, being, body modification godfather, him and Fakir. So, um, yeah, Phoenix was the other. I was like, where do we take Hell City if we wanted to take it across? And I had always been infatuated with Phoenix back then. My son's middle name, one of his middle names is Phoenix. He was conceived in Phoenix.
Okay.
I was doing business in Phoenix before. um, so I've always had a fascination for like I've always wanted to move out west around mountains and stuff like that. That's where Vegas worked out perfect for me because it's between LA and Phoenix. I could drive either way, but it's like that tropical. So Phoenix back then when I started doing business, um, I love Phoenix. The people there and the community there is good. So we did our first show there, and it went off with a bang, because there's a big community there. I think now though there's like 4 or 5 shows in Phoenix.
Really?
It's just yeah. So other people have the idea Phoenix is a place too, but there's a lot just like tattooing. There's a lot of shows nowadays. A lot of shows, comparatively to like you said when I started doing Hell City or Stained Skin. There weren't a lot of shops. There weren't a lot of conventions.
And then you got the Phoenix show coming up in like 7 weeks or something
I
like
know.
that,
Before that, I got Sturgis. I think, yeah, Sturgis is coming up beginning of August.
Yeah.
I'll be there too. And this is the first year with like Raven's Nest and Sean and James and those guys that were going up there. We're putting on the largest tattoo competition ever in Sturgis at the Buffalo Chip, probably in front of thousands of people.
Have you been there before?
I've been to Sturgis before. Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the Buffalo Chip. I don't remember going to the Buffalo Chip. But it's gonna be fun with tattoo for some days. I'm running the tattoo competitions with Ricky Rackman from
Yeah.
TV. So
Yeah.
I'll be conducting it. He's gonna be hosting, so I'll be like hurting people's feelings, like, okay, give me your card, get off the stage. you know.
Yeah. Mario's out there judging, and then
I think it's me, Mario. Who else has he got? I saw the name.
yeah.
Oh my, it's gonna be fun though, man. I haven't been to Sturgis for a long time.
Are you using your judging software out there?
No, we're not really using the software anymore. Like that's another thing we invented was tattoo judging software way back before anybody. We quickly got away from it. Not quickly. We used it for like 10 years. But then when we started seeing the card system and the transparency with the card system voting, as long as you have enough judges, I like to have 5 judges, always an odd number to break ties and stuff like that. But the once I saw that way of judging, I think I first did it in Romania at the Costi show, and Yalzi showed me it. He's like, dude, you'll love this. Watch. And we did our first like group, like our first category, and I was just like, holy fuck. One, the audience can see what judge likes what piece and who gets a card, who doesn't get a card. You know what I'm saying? So it's very transparent for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, not like the one, okay, so why I say this too, like 1 through 10 on paper, that's still going to win, that's still going to win, and that's still going to win. But it took us 2 hours to do one category because we had to do each piece 1 through 10. Even if it's shitty, you got to spend the time looking at it. And, so the way we judge now is the card system, you know, and that's probably the way we're going to do it. That is the way we were doing it in Sturgis. That way the audience can be somewhat visually like a part of it too, to watch and be like, oh shit, I didn't think that was going to win. That guy got kicked off. Now there's 3. These guys are tied. It makes it more exciting than being like you walking up and the judge being like, okay,
Right. Right. 100%.
So, and like I said, that still would win. That's still the best one. And it's just to me, it's a better system. It's better for the crowd. And that's what we're going to do, just like we do at Hell City. That's the way I'm going to run it in Sturgis.
Do you feel like it takes some of the stress off of you as a judge as well? That
What do you
judging
mean, as far as
system?
sitting there doing 1 through 10?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
for
think,
example,
I
like
think,
I've judged at Hell City before. I've used your computer. I did like that system just because it's pretty specific in
hyper
regards to like
detailed.
composition, and it,
Line
it
work.
it pinpoints like the artistic,
Yeah.
flow and all that. I did like that.
Took a while though, huh?
It did take a while.
Yeah. And
It
that's kind
did
of
take a while, and also because, dude, judging tattoo contest is not easy. I don't give a fuck what method of judging you're using. It's fucking hard because like a lot of shows, especially a good show like Hell City, I mean, you're not getting any trash tattoos up on the fucking stage. I mean, they're all fucking good.
hard to judge. It really is.
It's
I hear
real
the
fucking
judges
hard.
being like, this is hard, Durb. I'm like, I know. That's why
How
I
do you
got
pick a winner out of
tattoo
10
artists up
winners? You
here to
know what I
judge.
mean? It's like,
Because sometimes you'll take, like if you were to take that. So let's be honest here. Judges, if you ever judged on paper, you typically reserve, if you're going through 1 through 10 and you're on number 6 tattoo out of 40 people waiting, you're not going to give something comes up a 10 or a 9 right away. You're going to stay below 5 or above 5. It's kind of the way I judge. Like, is it worthy above 5? But then sometimes, like, you go back and you're like, oh, I didn't want that one to win. Like, so the card system allows you still get up and look at line work, composition, solidity, contrast, whatever you want, you know, but it allows you time to not give that tattoo a 7 because you think something else is going to come up nicer. You're going to know what's up there that's nice. You're not going to be, there's not this like anticipation or like not knowing what's out there. Everything's up there. And I tell my judges, like, I pull all my judges aside. I go, one, look at everybody's tattoo, even if it sucks and you don't like it, because their artist is watching, their friends and family are watching, and us as the convention promoter, we're going to hear about it when you don't look at their tattoo. Like, you judges didn't even look at my tattoo, my buddy's tattoo. Can I get my money back? And then you're just in this, you know. But I also tell them, like, take your time, do a quick pass of all, like, we only allow 15 on stage at a time, or no, 14, I'm sorry, 7 to 7. And I tell the judges too, I'm like, peruse them first. Don't ask a lot of questions of where they're from. Stay focused on the tattoo. Maybe ask how many hours. And that's it, you know? And then peruse them so you know what's good and what's bad. Kind of what I'm saying is like peruse them so you don't give them a five, hoping there's something better up there.
Right, right,
Know what's up there. Then you can go back and accurately spend more time on the ones you think are worthy of winning. So to me, it's a better system. Like I keep saying, it's transparent for the crowd. It is. And it's just, I think it's more fair. It doesn't do a nice tattoo coming up, number three, getting judged low, and then people waiting for something better to come up and giving, you know. So
what are your favorite shows?
tattoo, one last thing, being a judge can get you hated a lot.
Oh yeah.
I judge and I try to be like,
Yeah, 100%, bro.
I always get somebody coming up going like, why didn't this win? And I like that, to be honest with you. I like when people come up and be like, why didn't this win? Because I'll be like, okay. And I'll teach somebody or show that artist, and I feel bad because it's in front of the collector. Like, you got a beautiful tattoo. There's nothing, we're not saying there's something wrong with your tattoo, but if you look right here, this doesn't flow and match.
Right,
They usually show them something of what the judges saw why they didn't win.
right.
Because here's another thing I say too is everybody on that stage with their tattoo thinks they're going to win or they wouldn't be up there competing.
100%.
When they lose, they go, what's wrong with my tattoo? And there's nothing really wrong with it. You just put yourself in that situation to get judged, you know?
I
So
mean, it's the truth of it,
not easy though.
How do you feel about non-tattooers being judges?
I think that's one of the things that people will complain about if their tattoo doesn't win. I feel that only tattoo artists should judge tattoo competitions. 100%. I have a firm kind of understanding. There's somebody that's actually tattooed before. I try to keep, good tattooers up there, people that are
Right.
educated and stuff like that. Um, my opinion is literally like if you're judging, I'm not going to go judge a fucking car show. You want a tattoo
Yeah,
judging a car show and think that your car
right.
fucking
That
lost.
looks pretty.
I don't like the handles on that. Ooh, you shine these today. Nice rims. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then if that car loses, somebody be like, this fucking guy doesn't even have a driver's license. How,
Yeah, right.
you
You
know?
seen he pulled up on a scooter. He's got a fucking DUI,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. Exactly. And same thing with
Uh,
tattooers without tattoos. Sorry. Are you gonna buy a car from a fucking, is he gonna be able to take, is a car guy without a driver's license gonna be able to take you on a test drive of your car? Fuck no, dude.
right.
So no, I do have pretty harsh, opinions on only tattoo artists should judge tattoo competitions. That's the only way to keep it fucking fair. And anybody that's letting their buddy judge, it's a magazine editor or any of that shit that doesn't fucking put needle to the skin
Yeah,
for like 10 plus years to know those mistakes or how lines are. So we at Hell City, what we do is our artists that purchase booths, we typically put out a blast emails like, we're looking for judges. If you would like to judge one of the days, here's the days and the categories. We try to have judges up there. They're kind of geared towards those categories, but we do review everybody that wants to judge.
sure.
Want like good judges up there, so it's fair.
Yeah.
So when you look at the winners, you go, that's definitely second or third, second, first, with no question. So yeah,
Yeah, also I think a good thing with the system that you're using with the cards is that it removes because hell I've been at shows where I've judged and you'll be there down to the final, three people or whatever, and you're trying to decide, oh, who's going to get the best of, who's getting the first place or whatever. And then it's a battle of wills at some point. You know what I mean? It's like, no, this one, no, this one, no, this one, no, I don't think so. This one, this is,
yeah,
and that shit can go on forever, dude. Like,
yeah. That's when it comes down to opinion based though too. But that's
yeah,
good to have those categories, have judges that are like fluent with those categories. Don't put up a full color artist on the black and gray days. You want black and gray artist. And that keeps it fair too. So that's a big thing at tattoo conventions and anybody watching this that puts on a tattoo convention, that should definitely be a concern because I think competitions are one of the biggest parts for the crowd, for the collectors. That's why we keep ours for like end of the night because it's like the event people want. They want those awards and stuff like that. So doing a justice to the people that enters up to the promoter really, and that comes down to choosing your judges. You know.
What are your favorite shows to do outside of Hell City? Like, what's Durb's favorite tattoo convention?
Well, Detroit Motor City's been one of my favorites. You know, I'm good friends with Tramp, but just the energy of that show, it's 3.5 hours from here. So Detroit's always been one of my favorites. It's one of the, I think it's one of the longest running conventions in the entire country as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
I like that one too because it's a very traditional show
yeah, yep.
in terms of just aesthetics and the crowd and the artists there and
I like
yeah, I
Rich.
like that. It's definitely a good vibe at that show for sure.
Yeah, Richmond's another really good one. Yeah,
Jesse show.
yeah, I like Richmond a lot. You know, obviously Hell City, I want to say that. One thing I've been enjoying is some of the overseas shows, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Rest show, like the one that Coasty puts on, fucking
yeah.
vibes, man. Um,
They
you know,
get down different in Europe, man.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm getting ready to do once Hell City's over, I go over there for the big London convention that Martin puts on, you know, and then I think me and Golden Yeti and Gabe Londas, we're all heading to Barcelona just for like because we have like 5 days between the big London convention and the France convention. So we're doing a little Barcelona trip between there.
Yeah, you're always doing crazy shit anyway, bro. I was like watching you and Bob Tyrell tattoo each other
Yeah.
outside Dracula's castle and shit.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah. So we're the first people, like first documented people to ever tattoo at Dracula's castle. And the way that worked, go back a little bit. I did the Bucharest show before the pandemic. And I was with Yalzi, and he was supposed to bring this battery pack wristband for the machines, and me and Yalzi were gonna tattoo like little bats on each other. But this is at Polnari. Polnari was Dracula's like castle that was like up in the mountains, like one of his old original ones where his wife had to jump off from the Turks and killed herself, and he had to escape. So that was his original one. It had all these brutal stories of him like mass murdering people in his like cell, like areas and shit. So we hiked up 1,800 stairs or something like that to get to Dracula's original castle, and we were going to be the first people back then to tattoo ever at Dracula's like castle, you know. Yeah, and then Yalzi forgot the battery or something like so we ended up not tattooing ourselves, and I was like, fuck. And then I waited, and then COVID hit, and then Coasty couldn't do his show. So I went back this last year, and part of my intention, I flew in like, I'm not joking, like 3 days before the convention, because I was going to have a rental car. I was going to go to Dracula's Castle and go up there and just tattoo myself up at Ponari. When I got there, they're like, you can't even go up there anymore to the original castle because of the brown bear infestation, I guess, in the mountains right there. So nobody can even go up there anymore right now because the brown bears are so
Just
thick.
really dangerous.
Yeah. So at the convention, me and Bob were hanging out. I was talking. I was like, yeah, I came here to tattoo myself. I was like, I think Coasty's taking us to Brand Castle. I was like, I'm going to go tattoo myself. He's like, that's dope. And I go, you want to tattoo each other? He's like, yeah, bro. So me and Bob like had this like backpack. I don't think any of the other tattooers, we went to Brand Castle. We went to his other castle before he like died and stuff like that. And like all the other tattooers went in the castle. I'd already been in the Brand Castle and through it. So me and Bob just literally just like got our own backpack. All the tattooers went there, and me and him like snuck out to the like right at the base of the castle. We found this like wooden, like platform. So we sat up on that and we just laid on the ground, fucking tattooed each other with like the castle in the background. And then all the tattooers started coming out, and they were like, I didn't know this was going on. Fucking amazing, And then the only other person that we tattooed and what we're calling the brand tattoo cult, because it was at Brand Castle, was Coasty, because he's the one that takes everybody.
Yeah.
This year I cannot go back. I could, but it'd be really rough on me to go where like it's the weekend after Hell City Phoenix, and I'm like, I got to load trucks, and so I'm hoping that he goes out and initiates, some
A
like,
new round
yeah, start this brand tattoo call because I gave him the design and everything. So
becomes a tradition.
yeah, and it kind of became like a little historic.
What's the tattoo? Is it on your leg?
Yeah, it's like it's like here actually. Get my
Oh,
elbow.
geez.
Yeah, right.
It's a PG show, bro.
Step off here really quick. Get ready for you.
This got to go on YouTube.
Yeah, but this
Oh,
is
yeah, that's sweet. So that's the same design.
yeah. So this is a vampire symbol inside of a cat, a coffin, and then bat wings.
So
Yep.
Bob's got the same tattoo.
Yeah, same tattoo. He got his back there on his like back of his thigh, and then Coasty got his as well on his arm. So we're the first three people in the brand tattoo called. You have to get tattooed at Dracula's castle in
Uh,
Transylvania.
so to do one of the original brand people have to do that tattoo? Is it like the CS tattoo where you got to pass that down?
Yes. So either Bob or Coasty would have to go do the tattoos now
Yeah, yeah.
for itself. So it's kind of like that. Like you have to
But
be in
then if somebody else gets that brand, then they can pass it on to somebody too.
yeah, but not they can't just go home and start doing the brand tattoo cult. They
They
have
got
to
to do it at Dracula's castle.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
got to set
dope.
up on the motherfucking ground or wherever
That's dope.
tattoo. Yeah. So
That's
it's pretty
fucking
awesome,
dope.
man. It was good. It was like a bonding moment for me and Bob too, which is cool as shit, sharing that like experience together.
Yeah.
And then Coasty giving us that experience because Coasty's the one that, like he takes care of you, man. Coasty. So he drove us up there. So we're like, bro, you earned it. Like of anybody, he earned it. Shit.
Yeah, I like the European shows a lot, man. I want to go to some more
Yeah.
of them next year for
Those are
sure.
some of my favorites, man. Like the Italian shows and stuff like that too, are really cool. It's cool being American over there. I got tattooed in Malta a few times and like I'd never experienced like being like the only American and then having like 20, 30 people around you while you're working. It's fucking awesome. And some of the European shows like that being an American kind of have that feel. It's a little different. I like it.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe for sure, man.
Yeah.
The thing I like the most about European shows, I think, is just well, what stood out to me, like the first European show I ever did was the Liverpool show.
Okay.
It was just cool, dude, where you're around like artists from all over the fucking place. Germany, Poland, fucking Italy, every
Once you're in
fucking place,
Europe,
dude.
yeah, once you're across the pond there, whatever they say, is like it's so much easier to get around Europe.
Yeah. I
People
mean, there's just
flying from
artists
like
from everywhere.
Oklahoma to Ohio, it's like that.
Well,
So
what was the coolest thing to me, and this is gonna probably sound a little bit funny, I guess, but the coolest thing to me is like how much shit all those artists talk to one another. Like if they're from a different place, like the
yeah,
Italian guys talking shit to the Polish guys, talking shit to the Irish guy,
yeah.
but they're all sitting at the table eating dinner and drinking
Yeah,
together and laughing about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're not getting pissed off and offended at each other. They're just cool with
right.
ribbing each other.
Yeah. No, I like the European shows. I just like being in Europe, really, like traveling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I had missed my flight. I really got a good feel for European hospitality too because I missed my flight that first show, and I'm standing out in the parking lot, and I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I got to get to fucking the airport tomorrow. I don't fucking know what I'm gonna do. I don't have a fucking room tonight. Nothing. I'm just talking to somebody else." And Philip Paiseca came up, and I didn't even know him. I just met him at the show, like briefly. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, dude, you could stay at my house. My wife will make breakfast for you, coffee in the morning, and I'll take you to the airport." I'm like, "Really?"
Tattooing, man. That's that
Dude,
tattoo
I'm like, that's
family.
fucking cool, bro. Like,
Yeah, it's like that tattoo family. Like anywhere you go, typically tattooers will take care of your tattooers. You're having a you could probably stop into a shop and be like, "Hey guys, what's up, man?" And they would help you. It's kind of like jujitsu. It's like that too. Like people
yeah, dude, it was just real super cool,
that
man.
take care of you. Yeah.
And that was years ago, dude. So that was the first time I ever really experienced, just you don't get that kind of like, depending where you're at in the United States. I mean, you don't always get that warm hospitality. You know what I mean?
No, true.
It's a whole
Depending on
different,
where you're at in the United States.
yeah, you might get
Yeah,
shot at.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're in the wrong neighborhood, bud.
Right. But the European stuff, I really like it, man. I'm getting ready to head back over in September.
Yeah.
Be there pretty much all through September, which is nice. And then I think
Yeah. So
I got hernia surgery and then Puerto Rico.
you're having another surgery?
I didn't have my original, no. I've been fighting and training and all that shit with a hernia for
Jesus Christ, dude.
years, not caring, dude. I got this black belt So now I'm in my black belt. I'm like, all right, you should
Well,
probably take care of your old beat up body. I need 3 more surgeries, man.
on your back too?
I had 3 already from jujitsu. I've had both my knees and my tonsils taken out. And
Your
now I
tonsils from
got,
jujitsu?
yeah, like getting
Just
crushed.
from being choked
I'm
out?
getting out, they're like called tonsil lifts, like tonsil
Yeah.
bones, and they stink and shit. And I didn't realize I had them until they were like, I guess they were pocketed. And then when people were like choking me, I was spitting them out. So I just
Bro, I
decided,
guess I never thought about this till you just said that. But you know, like a lot of fighters have the cauliflower ear from getting just fucking
yeah,
headlocked and shit.
yep,
Well, I suppose technically that same shit could happen in the tissue in your neck. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I got those out. Now I got 2 tears and a labrum tear in this shoulder. Fucking awesome. I got a shot in it yesterday. Um, my hip has been fucking weird, and then I got the hernia. So, but
So
I'm
all the
not playing
all
patty cake at 52. I'm out there fighting 30-year-old, guys the whole time. So it's,
so all those injuries, dude, why jujitsu? I mean, why do you keep doing it?
bro, it's an internal beast. I don't know. Part of me is like, why didn't I get into it? Because I started jujitsu at 41. So I got into it a little bit older.
Old, yeah.
Why didn't I get into like yoga and swimming?
Because when do
You know,
fighters
like,
generally retire? Like in their mid 30s? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, fighting's a young guy sport, really.
Right.
Especially like MMA. Like most people are retired by 40. Jiu-jitsu you can do till you're a little bit older because you're not getting punched and
But
CT
you're still out there on the mats just fucking grappling, like going at it.
all the time. Like hardcore, yeah. Like I train pretty hard and I roll pretty hard too, which is good. I roll light too. It just depends on what. I still try to compete. I'm not like a competitive hobbyist. Like my mindset isn't to just compete jujitsu. I get more out of jujitsu, which I think a lot of tattoo artists are nowadays. You see a lot of tattooers getting into jujitsu now. Um, and it's more like it's mental, it's physical. As we get older, like I think people need an activity or an activity that has a team with it. You know what I'm saying? Whether
Yeah.
you're CrossFit or what, to be around other people, and with all due respect, outside of tattooing. There's a lot of tattoo artists that do jujitsu, but I'm saying when I am done working for the day, I go do something that disconnects me.
From tattooing.
Nobody's at jujitsu being like, how much for it's like my chance to disconnect, do something for myself or for the team,
Right.
you know, um, and stay healthy. Like I'm not joking, dude. I went to the doctor yesterday. I have an athletic doctor, and he literally ran these tests on me on this crazy machine and blood pressure and all this shit. And he goes, you couldn't be in better health. For 52, you're at the top of being healthy. I have 8% body fat, 34% visceral fat. I have no fat around my organs or diabetes or high blood pressure or anything like that. My blood pressure literally was on point, like to the T. So I feel that all these years where people were like, man, he's crazy about his health. Like I'm going until I'm 90. You guys can replay this when I die at 72.
Yeah. Nah,
But
bro.
in my mind, like I'm trying to stay healthy, man. Like as you get older, you got to get healthier.
Yeah.
The jujitsu has definitely like kept my body fat down, keep me strong. Even with the injuries, like tattooing can injure you. Sitting stationary can injure you. You ever
Right.
one?
Well, tattooing has injured you. Your back's trashed
Dude,
because
that's
of
where
tattooing.
originally my physical problems, like my spine, man, is bad from tattooing, literally, like just from hunching. And it was before there was an awareness about the health of the tattooer. I was tattooing days when it was like tattoo 12 hours a day, bro, just nonstop, 3 big appointments a day. That catches up with you. It caught up with me real quick, and I didn't know what the pain was. I didn't know why. I was just like, man, my back hurts. I didn't realize I had like severe herniations in my thoracic spine from the hunch,
Right.
you know? And not
Yeah.
only the hunch, I used to tattoo literally where I'd be here. My setup would be like back here. Like nowadays, I pull a whole tray and I'm like right here tattooing. Before 25, 20 something years of this to one side, dipping and turning. So the muscles in the left side of my back are like way bigger than my right side because I've been pushing to that side for 25 years. and that caused a spinal imbalance, muscularly, which pulls my spine in different
Sure.
directions. The hunching and the twisting on the hunch created like a weak point in my thoracic spine because you're hunched and then you're rotating that hunch. So it made that weak point. So having a lot of, I mean, my left leg is somewhat paralyzed because of the pressure that I have from a thoracic herniation on my spinal cord, which is scary because any day my leg could shut off, you know? So that's why I started teaching. And like we were talking about, what I'm going to be doing in France at the convention is I'm going to be speaking about artist health. Those 10 minutes are going to be geared towards the most important.
Right.
But after things started happening on my body from tattooing and like severe pain, that's what has kind of like shortcut my tattooing career a little bit, which I don't mind. I've done a lot of tattooing. I'm still doing things for tattooing, but part of it was my physical body from tattooing long fucking hours. I always say as tattooers, we think about everybody else and about our clients and about our tattooing before we think about ourselves. So we won't eat. We'll sit with a hunched over back for 10 hours just to get your tattoo done. And then we're in pain the whole fucking night,
Right.
and that's what started happening to me where I just be like, whew, just so over time, it just got worse and worse and worse. So, it definitely damaged my tattoo career, the spine injury. If it was my big toe, whatever.
Right.
My fucking spine is the one thing I got to support myself. I still tattoo, I just can't tattoo like 12 hours a day, 5 days a week like I used to. But I did go on to develop Longevity of the Artist, the seminar.
Yeah.
But I've been teaching it for over a decade now. And anybody listening, any shop owners, apprentices, anything like that, there should be a health section involved in everybody's apprenticeship because the tattooers that are getting into it that are young, that are healthy, yada, yada, don't have back problems, they need to know posture. They need to know not rotating, to set up your station differently, to bring your client to you so you're not going to your client. And, so there's a lot of things that I teach in the seminar. And it's not just physical, it's mental, it's diet, it's everything, that a tattooers. So I compiled that as a do as I say, not as I've done, because I haven't, obviously I got back problems.
Learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, kind of like that. And it's a way for me to like hopefully bring an awareness that there has to be a focus on artist health because truck drivers are some of the most unhealthy, and that's a stationary job.
Yeah.
Tattooing is a stationary job where you care about your client to the fact where you'll barely throw healthy food. You'll throw a burger in your face and tattoo another 10 hours
Yeah.
while you're hunched over, not caring.
Pizza every day.
Yeah, shit like that. So,
Yeah.
I think artists' awareness of their health has changed, which is good. You see a lot of artists getting into, like we say, jujitsu or
Mhm.
kind of activity, whether it's weightlifting or what. But you have to have something to disconnect you from your job before you go home. If you go home right after your job, you're in your laziest environment. Welcome home. You're not going anywhere.
Don't this couch look nice?
Yeah, exactly. Or just shit will just pop up and it'll keep you from going what you were going to go do for yourself.
Right.
That makes sense. So
Oh, it makes total
I,
sense. Yeah.
I tell people before you go home, go do your activity or your jujitsu or your go CrossFit or go on a bike ride or something to disconnect for a moment. Take care of yourself.
What else are you doing outside of jujitsu? I mean, I know you hike a lot. You do some weight training.
Yeah, I got a full gym here at my house. So
Mhm.
every morning, I usually wake up at like 7:38, get coffee in me, kind of get things on lists for my managers and kind of organize. And then 9 a.m. literally, I like to just be, I got this, eat food.
You got alarms.
Yeah. So I got alarms that go off too. I call them digital coaches. And that's what I talk about. But no, I wake up and then by 9 to 10 a.m., typically 10:30, I lift with one of my, one of my teammates, shower, and then like 11 o'clock till 6 at night, 7 at night, I'll work. And then go train, around like 7.
To the jujitsu at 7.
Yeah. So
Every day you're doing jujitsu?
my body can't take that. So probably like every other day. So like 3 to 4 days a week, I train jujitsu for like 2 to 3 hours a day, I'd say, right around there, sometimes longer.
How many guys are in your gym that are your age, or is it all younger guys? You the
A lot
oldest
of
guy
younger.
there?
I'm the second oldest. Yeah. We have a 56-year-old and then I'm 52. Yeah.
How long has a 56-year-old been doing jujitsu?
He just went black belt as well. So probably like as long as me, like almost 12 years.
How long you think you'll stay with jujitsu? Till your
Well, my
body just can't
body,
take it?
yeah, as long as yeah, because I think it's the one thing that I think keeps me in good shape. And it's one of those things like tattooing. You can go anywhere in the world and do tattooing. You can go anywhere in the world. Like I walked into when I was at the Belfast, the Titanic Tattoo Expo. I went to in Belfast to train at a place, and I just wanted to train. I walked in there, and they're like, at that point, they're like, brown belt, huh? I was like, yeah. They're like, you want to teach? I was like, yeah, if I could teach. So I'm finding it opening up different avenues and shit like that, a team.
How much different? I mean, I don't know enough about it, but how long does it take to progress through belts? And like what different is it just about is it basically you're learning like a set of skills and then it's just as you advance more in that set of skills, or is it like this is white belt, I've learned this skills, now I go to the next belt and I'm learning a new set of skills and I'm constant.
Like that. Yeah, so your belt ranks are time based too, but like skill and technique based, I guess, and kind of having grit. So to advance in the belts, yes, you need to know like the technique, meaning like this collar grab the sleeve, pull the sleeve, put your foot in the hip, flip them, grab the choke. So like technique is a huge thing. Um, Consistency, showing up for class will get you, if you're going once a week, you're going to be a white belt for 6 years.
Right.
So it's about getting out there and competing. But I would say the main thing to get promoted in jiu-jitsu is time on the mat, comprehension of technique, and then getting your rolls in, like actually rolling to make sure that your shit works in a live kind of spar. So I grew up wrestling. I feel like I caught on to jujitsu easier because of my groundwork from when I was a kid. But I'll tell you what, it's the roughest thing I've done in my life.
Really?
It's the most
Is it
gritty.
just a lot of getting your ass beat all the time?
But then I mean, once you get your body movement, then you start moving like a jujitsu guy or jujitsu person. But yeah, it's a lot of like that. It's a lot of like fortitude and going back,
Just
taking
taking the
it
licks.
easy. Yeah, but then you get to give some licks too, and that's when
Yeah.
you're enjoying it. You're like, oh shit, that technique worked, and I was able to choke the new guy that came in. Does that make sense? So like,
Yeah, and plus you're always trying to beat you all if you're like me, I mean, if I was in the jujitsu gym, I'm looking at like, oh yeah, I want to fucking take that top dog out. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's
I
usually
want
people.
to choke that big motherfucker out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's when I
No,
know
that's
I'm good.
normal. That's
You know?
normal. Me being a big dude all these years, it seems like out of a group of us, people will call me out before the little, because they're like, "Oh, the big dude."
Well, they want to test
Yeah,
themselves, you know? They
yeah,
want to know how fucking good they are.
yeah. Jiu-jitsu is different though. Like weight classes and stuff. Like you go against somebody like just a big dude, like you'll feel it, especially if they know, like if you're like, "I want to take out the black belt." Even a small black belt will just fuck you up. It's
Yeah,
like
dude.
superhuman. It's weird, man. Jiu-jitsu is the most dominant, and a lot of any martial art will kind of tell you like jiu-jitsu is one of the,
My son's living in Japan. He's doing Aikido over there.
yeah, some karate. Is that what Aikido? Yeah,
Well,
Aikido.
it's like the Steven Seagal shit, you
Aikido is
know?
all bringing people's, yeah,
Throwing people and like, yeah, using their momentum against them kind of
like
a
a
thing.
hapkido, like a Korean hapkido.
But he sends me videos all the time, and his sensei's like this fucking 80-year-old like Japanese dude, bro. He's got like one of the oldest dojos in Japan, you know, like a traditional.
Yep.
But he sends me these videos, and my son's 6'5", right?
Damn, taller than me.
Bro, this fucking 80-year-old Japanese dude throws him around like a motherfucker, dude. And I'm like, Jesus fuck, bro.
Technique.
I mean, he just throws my fucking big ass son all over the fucking place.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, do you
Goes
ever get
like
to
that.
throw his old ass around? You know, like,
Yeah. Yeah, the Aikido's that shit where you can flip people and stuff.
oh, dude, it's crazy. And
Bones.
I don't know how practical it is in the real world, but it's good. It's good discipline, anyways. You know.
Yeah, I think a lot. I mean, unless you have a really good like boxer, Muay Thai type of dude, like the jiu-jitsu guy typically is gonna like kind of win, take you down, or cardio's nuts. But like it's different. Any guy can like literally be like and pop, pop, catch you with shit.
Does jujitsu teach you good defense from like if you're like up against a good fucking boxer that can like fucking just nail you, bro? I mean, is jujitsu teach you kind of defense against that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it teaches you how to avoid punches. Like typically you'll come in, you almost try to hit your elbows in somebody's chest, essentially. So if you come in blocking your temples, trying to block your jaw and your ear. But what jujitsu will teach you, if you're not a big striker, is how to like get in tight, get a body lock, or to get
So
some
they can't use their hands and shit.
or like, yeah, once we're kind of like locked onto you, we're typically at a higher belt gonna have like a position or a technique to either try to get you to the ground or to not have you strike us. And it could be as simple as like a body lock, pull the lower back in and press with your head into their chest. The biggest dude goes down. It's like the weirdest thing. You have to feel it. But in my opinion, yeah, I mean, from watching fights a lot, like even MMA, you can punch a dude. Sometimes those guys get hit 50, 60 times in a row and they're still standing there. Then it
Yeah,
goes
but
to the ground and
that's in
one
a
choke will
cage.
end it. One
But
choke.
that's in a cage. I mean, like, what about like a real world application, like in a bar, and some badass motherfucker comes at you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you can avoid the punches and know how to be defensive, yeah, you could still take out the bigger dude. That's kind of what it's designed for. I am typically one of the bigger dudes because I'm so tall, but I'm only like 200
have
pounds.
you had to use jujitsu in real world application?
Yes, I have. Yep, I have. I've used jujitsu in street fights. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. And like I said, that's from just being like wrestler based. Even as a kid, I would use wrestling chokes and stuff. Yeah, I choked one dude. This is no shit. Standing guillotine years ago, choked a dude out and then let him go right when he was getting ready to pass out. And he was kind of was like, bunk, bunk, bunk. So you can utilize it, or I'll do just ankle picks and take people down. It's a matter of somebody like talking shit to you and you being like, oh yeah, and just drop and get their ankles and just pull their ankles out.
Yeah.
You go from like here to and the
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want to. I feel like I wouldn't want to fuck with somebody that knows jujitsu unless I had the element of surprise. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
even then, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I mean,
But
you
check
really,
this out. If we get you wrapped up with our jujitsu, we get you like this, it's called a gift wrap where we just sit there and be like,
yeah, you're done.
yeah, and you're wrapped up, you're tied up with jujitsu so much,
Yeah.
and you just
I
can't
seen that
stop
one. I seen
pumping.
I can't remember who the fighter was now in UFC, but this one dude, man, he used to get what called like a crucifix or something.
Uh-huh.
He'd like stretch their fucking arms out and they're
Yeah,
basically
crucifix.
just wide the fuck open. And
Yep.
he'd just be like, "Paf, paf."
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, that's fucking brutal, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like crucifying people in jujitsu.
Yeah,
I
bro.
know
I'm like,
that they're just
God damn.
they can't get their arm out
No, man.
because your legs are locking the one arm up, and then you can just have one. So you just sit there and just
Yeah, dude. I'm like, fuck, that's crazy, bro. Fuck
be
that.
like,
Tap, tap.
But on the streets, dude, no shit. I don't start fights. Typically,
No, no. But
I never start a fight. Typically, if somebody's trying to start a fight, I'm like, "Go, bro." I know if it came down to it, I'd be able to fight great. I've been
yeah,
in
but you're always going to try to diffuse the situation first, right?
being older now, and then it's like being in so many like little fights and jujitsu, it calms you down. I don't have the need to fight on the street to prove anything. I don't have a small ego. So it's like, I don't know. I save it for the mats and I know what I got. I know what I could do to, because you see tough guys come in your gym all the time. We all thought we were tough when we started.
Yeah,
Last year, like, dude, I'd be dead.
yeah.
I'd be dead on the streets if that little dude I didn't think could do shit. Like my friend Mike McLean, badass black belt, skinny little dude, you wouldn't even know it. One of my friends, Devin, he was like hanging out with like friends and stuff, and he goes, that guy? I was like, yeah, that dude. He goes, that'd be the first dude out of the whole group that I would try to beat up. And I'm like, looks skinny, doesn't he? He's just in shape. He doesn't have any body fat, like me, 8%.
You're like, go fuck with the dude and
Well,
find out.
and just in life, you don't,
Yeah.
let's talk about like no jujitsu. No, you don't fuck with anybody because you don't know who they are, what they know, who they know, whether it's you getting your ass beat. It's not even that. It's like they might be somebody that knows a lot of people that, like you're just looking like a dick. So I don't try to start fights with anybody. like yes is no, no is yes, whatever. That type, like what is it, the thing that Keanu says? You could tell me something's blue when it's really green and it's blue.
I'll be like, yeah, it's just blue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get to a point in life where you're like, I just don't want to argue with people. So
Yeah,
with
who gives a fuck?
you, it's calmed me down in life, to be honest with you. I mean, it really is the one thing I wish I would have had it like during my childhood, to calm me down and stuff like that. Not have like a lot of guys have small egos,
Yeah.
and that makes them try to get in fights to prove shit. And the average guy doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah, 100% the
Come
same,
on.
man. We didn't have that shit when we were kids. We fought all the time.
Yeah.
I always say that. I was like, damn, I wish I would have had that outlet when I was growing up, man, instead
Yeah.
of doing this shit out on the street and the concrete all the fucking time.
You can see my face. I mean, my eyes are all scarred,
Yeah, yeah,
scars from like there to there.
yeah.
Wish I didn't have those.
Yeah, one of my best friends
Okay.
growing up has a jiu-jitsu gym downtown. He's always trying to get me to go down there. I'm like, bro, I have to take all this fucking shit out of my ears, dude. That shit would take me fucking
Yeah.
hours.
That's why I go wear like soft.
Yeah, it would take me
Just had
fucking
your
four
arm,
hours to put all this shit
you just
back
had
in
your
my ear.
muscle disconnect already.
Yeah, I tore my bicep, bro.
Yeah, dude. And that's a reality in fighting too, man. It's like you get real fucking injured. That's why I like
I'd love to go do that, bro, just from not necessarily
physical,
to learn how to fight better, but just to be
the movement.
active and get that cardio keeping going on and just,
Yeah. It's the hardest cardio you'll do. I'm
well, I
not
don't know how
even,
you can't I don't there's no like, oh, I'd like to sign up for your light duty jujitsu course, please.
no. It's like the thing with jiu-jitsu guys, they're like, let's go light. I'm going
Yeah.
light today. And next thing you know, it's like fucking full
Can I take the class
on.
with no headlocks, please?
Yeah, exactly. You know you're in a headlock.
And the one where you don't touch this arm either.
But I am glad I got into it. I'm glad I got into
Yeah.
like when I did, because like now there's a lot of tattooers getting into it. Like back when I started, like some of the tattoo artists that like Ken Cameron, I think he's a black belt. I was training back then, with different friends. Rember's almost a black belt or is a
Yeah, yeah.
well. So there's a lot of like jujitsu guys. Mark Longnecker, he was training for a while. I think he got to like the blue belt. But it's cool. And every Hell City, I bring the jujitsu mats, and there's always tattoo guys that bring their gis and stuff like that. Which brings me to a point. I was going to do it for Hell City this year. Next year, I may do a 4-man bracket of tattoo artists versus tattoo artists jujitsu on the main stage for like a little half hour kind of like
That'd
perform,
be fun.
but having like Rember versus, Pepe or me versus Rember or me versus, you know, and then doing it in front of the tattoo community and show them kind of like this is jujitsu. People might not understand it and be like,
Oh, dude, I think that'd
just
go
two
over real
sweaty
well.
guys rolling around together in pajamas. It's like,
No, dude, I think that would go over big time in our community. And
mm,
especially even with the crowd, dude. Everybody loves fighting, man.
mm. Yeah, it's one of those. You yell fight on the street, everybody comes running.
But even UFC fights, dude, are fucking huge. Everybody
Sad.
watches that shit, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I was going to do. I bought the website Tatjitsu. So I bought that domain, and I wanted to like take it to like Richmond. Like, hey, Jesse, let me put on a little 4-man bracket of tattooers that will be at your show already that are jujitsu guys. And then try to like just do little tournaments.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Watch people get choked out in front of other people.
Hell yeah.
Nobody's going to want to lose though in front
Well,
of
bro, I'll tell you one thing, dude. I think those gi chokes are fucking cheating, bro.
I don't know, man.
That's fucking stupid, bro. I'd be so fucking mad if I got choked out and lost a fight by you choking me out in my shirt, bro.
What happens when you start a fight at a bar and you got a hoodie on though?
I'm taking that fucking thing off
Yeah,
before
you
I get.
better. You don't know who knows what nowadays.
I'm
You go to
taking,
sleep with your own hood, like,
I'm taking that
nope,
shit off.
not letting you tap. You're
Hey,
sleeping.
hey, I'll tell you, when I was coming up, my dad always taught me, man, a sucker punch is 90% of the fight. So if I'm getting fighting hard, bro,
Yeah, yeah,
you ain't gonna have time to fucking choke me out with a fucking
yeah.
sweatshirt, bro.
Knock
I'm
you out
driving
when
by
you're
with a beer
looking.
pitcher, bro.
Yeah. Hey, what's over there? Huh?
I'm driving by with a cue ball, bro.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Give me my sock and a cue ball. But
In
no,
my
you
night,
should. I mean, You should try it, but if you go into jujitsu, go slow. Don't let your ego get you hurt. Tap early because this shit's real, man. I've already had 3 surgeries from it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I think that
Oh,
you may see that in the future, though. You may see a tat jitsu tournament.
I
But
encourage it, bro. I think you should do it.
yeah, I think we will next year.
I think you should do it. So what fun do you got lined up for Phoenix? I saw the card. There's like a lot of stuff going on out there this year.
Yeah, we still got a lot of, I mean, a lot of the shows I go to, I think we still got some of the more like performances and stuff like that. We're bringing back the Monsters of Schlock from Canada. It's one of their last U.S. shows they're going to do for many, many years. So we decided like let's have them back at Hell City if we're not going to be able to see them for a long time again. So the Monsters of Schlock. We've got Debauchery, Burlesque, which is a troupe of burlesque girls. There's 5 of them. They put on a really, really good performance. We have Javi doing Native American dance, being out in Phoenix and Indian Territory, and he's going to be doing one of his dance from his tribe. Again, we have the tattoo competitions, and all that good stuff up there as well. What else we got? That's about it. So we got, same entertainment each day in case people are there Friday, they're not going to be there Saturday, vice versa, and then I don't know, we do fun shit at there too. We have like every day we got a box of like throwaways. So Jeff's always doing like trivia between shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have art fusion experiment that we do
Doing
all.
wet paint.
Yeah, we do the wet paint project that's in the side hallway. Yep. And that's like 20 to 30 painters that Chris Dingwall brings together. Um, yeah, and then like I said, all the trivia, so we're always doing throwouts and stuff like that.
And
Um,
then of course the epic big pool party every year.
Dude, that's yeah. The pool party is the world's largest pool party as far as like tattoo pool party. And it's just, dude, it's a good time, man. Because most shows you go to, you're like in the bar
Yeah.
for the whole night. You go to, party in the rooms. Phoenix, they don't shut the pool down either. So, I mean, there's people sleeping out there till 4 or 5 a.m. and shit. But it gives people a chance to act like little kids. We get to get in the, swim around and knock beach balls around and drink and just have fun, man. And it's a good way for people to connect in other ways other than just staying stagnant at a bar.
Yeah, yeah.
And it makes everybody motivated to get their summer body on because they know they're going to be at the pool in front of everybody. you know.
I was thinking about coming out, bro, but I think I'm still wearing my winter body a little bit.
Well, you got 2 months. You got less than 2 months now, man.
Better get out and start doing that jump rope, bro.
Now you got to start taking jujitsu. You'll be skinny in a month.
Jump rope, bro.
Jujitsu, bro.
I still think jump rope's one of the best
Oh yeah,
exercises you can do.
dude. Jump roping is it's amazing exercise. You lift and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I haven't. Dude, I'll be honest with you, dude. I probably shouldn't ever admit this on camera, but I get kind of lazy, bro. I work so fucking much, dude. Like, I'm just focused on work so much all the time. It's kind of it's a negative for me, dude, because I'm always trying to find that separation. Like, I'll get in these spurts, you know what I mean? I'll get really disciplined for a while and I'll get up early, go to the gym every day. I'll journal every day. I'll fucking do yoga. I'll fucking get eating healthy
Yeah.
and I'll stay on that track for quite a long time. And then I'll just hit a fucking brick wall, bro. I'll get depressed about some shit. And it's like, fuck it. You know what I
Every
mean?
your game.
Yeah, dude. And I just got to get better mentally at staying consistent with it, you know?
It helps when you got somebody working out with you too. If you can find a buddy that's motivated as well, I think it helps me every morning because lifting alone does not feel the same as somebody else there. Like lifting, what is it? Misery loves company.
Well, and you know what's weird, bro? I've never really been a person that's needed somebody to motivate me like that. You know, I just always like to put my headphones on and get in the zone and just work out. And I also
Yeah,
like to get in the gym, crank my fucking workout and get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. That's why I give myself like 1 hour. If I'm
Yeah.
late out there, if I make it out at 9:15, you just took 15 minutes from yourself, dude.
And also, bro, I've been struggling a little bit too because I just don't feel like at my age, when I was younger, I really enjoyed weightlifting a lot, you know, bodybuilding. I'd spend a couple hours in the gym every day, you know.
Yep.
Now I'm 50. I just don't really feel like lifting weights anymore, dude. It just isn't, I don't enjoy it like I used to, you know? It fucking sucks, you know?
You have to.
So now I want to do more like calisthenics type stuff, push-ups, pull-ups,
That stuff's great.
resistance training type of stuff, you know?
Yeah. They say that the key to like as you get older is strength and flexibility are like the most important.
Yeah,
Because
so I do try to do a lot of yoga,
yeah,
which is, you know, I try to get my friends to come over. I'm like, hey, want to come over and do yoga? They're like, fuck you, dude. That's fucking stupid.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes that's my way with jujitsu is like, "What? I don't want to roll all sweaty. No, it's not. I get it. That's where your mind's at, but
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm talking to Julia. I'm like, we should get a place out in Colorado and we could just have retreats out there and I could invite all my tattoo buddies out there. But guess what? We're not gonna tattoo, we're just gonna fucking meditate and do yoga. And I'm like, fucking nobody's gonna come.
right? You got like three dudes there that are just sleepy. I think a tattoo, jujitsu, and art retreat would be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Have different like health workshops.
It would be fun, dude. I've thought about that, like just mental, because mental health's a big thing, right? Like we don't talk about it a lot, but it's a huge thing. And I feel like we should have, maybe there's a couple of them. I think I've seen a couple people try to do that kind of stuff, maybe, but
I know my buddy Joseph Hafes, he goes to
yeah,
retreats, like kind of like men retreats to like realign yourself. And
but not with tattoo artists though, right? It's like kind of outside the tattoo
yeah, it's
community.
outside. I think he just does it with like other men that are looking for, support or like new beginnings. And
Right, right. It'd be cool to have something like that within the tattoo community.
yeah, exactly. He's a very spiritual guy, real positive minded, and him and his wife are just great. So
Yeah, yeah.
watching him do that stuff makes me be like, that's fucking cool,
Boy,
man.
he's another
Would
one
be
to get
cool
on the
retreat.
podcast, man, because he's got a real, real life story too, you know?
Yeah, yeah, he's gone through some shit.
Yeah, yeah,
On top, man. He's out there in Vegas too, so
yeah,
he's
yeah.
a workhorse, and is a really nice guy, good family man and stuff like that too. So, but yeah, he does those retreats. I think it's a good thing, man. I think a lot of times being a tattooer too, man, like if you're just tattooing and going home, man, you don't have a lot of people around you.
Yeah, so I think it would be cool to do something like that, man. Just you know, not a tattoo convention, don't even bring your tattoo stuff. Bring your paintbrushes and pencils and pens, you know what I mean? Let's
Exactly. Yep.
let's just fucking art and fucking meditate and go hiking in the mountains and fucking go ride some side by sides and
Yeah.
shoot guns and shit, whatever, you
Where are we
know.
doing this?
You know, that'd be fucking cool,
Do
right?
it. I'd be
Vegas.
down. Well, I would literally probably throw like a jujitsu twist on
You know
it.
what would be fucking cool, bro? Since you're out in Vegas anyway, do that fucking Grand Canyon hike where you hike down the one day, camp out in the bottom of the fucking canyon,
Yeah,
back
yeah,
up
yeah.
the next day.
But with tattooers,
Yeah, that'd be fucking dope.
yeah. And I think things like that are important. Like I said, man, to stay connected to each other or to have, a way to hang out with other tattooers, outside of actually tattooing.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, we need to do that, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's I guess we're hitting about a 2.5 hour mark now, so we've been
Are we
at it for a
really?
while. But yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
That's how shit goes with us, dude. We just flow.
Yeah, dude. No, this is going quick as fuck.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
Crazy.
what's I mean, you're 52, you're gonna go till you're 90, so you got a lot of years left in front of you in the tattoo. I imagine we're gonna be the true old traditional guys where, you know, we're gonna be
Yeah,
90 years old still here in the fucking scene somewhere, you know what I mean?
I do. I'll be trying to help kids or teach kids how to tattoo or
Yeah, oh, that's what I was gonna ask you.
whatever I can do at that age, I'll try to do.
What do you think the next evolution of Durb Morrison is? You know what I mean? What's Durb in his 60s
In my
doing?
60s, oh my God. Well, I mean, I'd like this. I mean, that's only fucking 8 years away for me.
Yeah.
I'd still like to be, doing the products. I'm getting ready to release new products when I'm done with something I'm going through right now. So I got like a lot of new inventions I'm going to be releasing. I'm actually going to be expanding my facility as well. So I'm going to be doing some expansions around there. Me personally, like I said, I've been enjoying, since I can't tattoo quite as much with my spine and shit, and time. I've been enjoying painting more. That's been, like I said, I sold a lot of paintings this last year, and it's kind of invigorated me to be a painter even more. I've always been a painter, but now I'm doing the pour paint, so I'm able to produce a lot. And the way I feel about it, and kind of what I've been telling people too with me painting lately, is kind of like every tattoo you do one day will be gone pretty quickly, 40
Right.
years typically. So every piece of art you create will be gone if you're only tattooing, flash, all that stuff will still be around, probably longer than some of the tattoos. So where I'm at right now with my career, getting older, is I go, I need to make art that's going to last longer than me. That'll kind of be my legacy when I'm gone. It's like, oh, that's an original Durb. Oh shit, kind of like that type of feel. So I think that's my next thing, is like continuing to do the conventions and helping other people in the industry, but nurturing younger artists and then continuing to be a fine artist. Like I was an artist before I got into tattooing. I never ever expected when got into tattooing to go where I've gone with it, or to receive the amazing things I've got in life from tattooing. So one of the things I always say, always, is like I wake up and give back to something that's given me so much.
Right.
So with tattooing, I'm going to be a part of tattooing till I die, or at least be trying to give back to tattooing in some way till I die. Literally, it's just I don't know anything else.
Right. Right.
I don't know anything else because I found the best thing ever, in my opinion, tattooing. Not just tattooing, but I found a community of like-minded people that are weird, different, alternative, shit that I thought shit that people thought I was weird growing up. I used to get chased around on a skateboard, literally
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
calling me names that you can't say nowadays, all kinds of shit,
Yeah.
and I never quit. It almost motivated me more. So then when I was a kid and I started tattooing, my fucking parents hated that I was tattooing. My dad pretty much kicked me out for tattooing at 17. I live with Marcotte. It motivates you, you know.
Yeah.
I see myself just kind of like continuing on my path, helping artists, inventing stuff for tattooing, and then just being a part of tattooing, being an artist. First and foremost, being an artist my whole life, whether I'm making tattoo art or not. If I'm not tattooing a lot nowadays, pretty much everything I do rotates around tattooing. So I never feel bad that I'm not tattooing, because I know my limitations with my spine. But I would feel bad if I was changing oil in a car trying to be a tattoo artist.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
everything I do revolves around tattooing, tries to give back to tattooing. It's always like, it's weird. Almost every text, every email revolves around somebody, a tattooer or something. So I don't know, man. It's taken over my life. I've saturated myself in tattooing, and it's given me some of the best shit in life: friends, family, career, travels, life experiences. So my next step is to make more paintings, I think, make more art, have art shows, and show people like I was an artist, tattoo artist, and continue to just be an artist. My book, my life chapters, what I tell people is I do want to write a book. I've started an autobiography, but it's like, if you could sum up my life, it would be a kid that grew up, had a troubled childhood because of like divorce and all this shit, and kind of got into like wrong groups and got in a bunch of shit when I was younger. Found tattooing at a young age, found the career tattooing, and it took me away from like the tough childhood and no money and just being around like gang shit when I was younger and stuff. And it gave me a purpose, and it put me on my ass and showed me like, fuck, dude, you can make a career out of something that people really didn't have faith in you and thought it was just like biker criminal punk shit you were doing in like the late 80s, early 90s, to actually make a career out of it. You know what I'm saying? But even when I'm done, at the end of the day, it's about art. Because even before tattooing, it was about art. I wouldn't have been a tattooer if I don't think I was an artist back then. It's popular now, so people are getting into tattooing without being artists.
Right. Right.
So I think that the chapter in my book is a kid that had a tough childhood, got into a bunch of shit, found tattooing, changed his life through tattooing, gave back to others. And then my story at the end of the day is me painting out here by my pond. That's my last chapter, is like going back to the art that gave me everything that fucking whole life was about. And it all comes back. I want to be out there 90 years old painting and die. Painting and then
Damn, bro, I
no, it's
just saw the
about
future.
yeah, it's about like art and community. Yeah, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I want to be like Lyle, where everybody's like, "What's up, man?" Like, still got my friends. Tattooing's always there till the day you fucking die, and then they don't forget about you.
Yeah.
So
You'll be doing Durb tattoos on people soon.
right, yeah, I'll be signing my name one day.
Yeah, bro. Durb.
Exactly. Yeah. At
I
least it's
got a
only four
Durb
letters.
tattoo,
Yeah,
kid.
I got this. It's only four, it's
Yeah.
not 15. It's not Michelangelo.
No, that's fucking cool, bro.
Yeah.
Well, Hell City, Phoenix, August 23, 24, 25, right?
22nd, 3rd, and 24th. Yep.
Okay.
Here. So it's always kind of like that last weekend of August. Yep. So that's coming
Tickets
up.
available
And
at
then,
healthcity.com.
yep, go to hellcity.com. Yep. If you want to see like my studio or any of the artists or even my tattooing, you can go to redtreetattoo.com or durbmorrison.com, Instagram at Durb Morrison, TikTok Durb Morrison, all that stuff. But yeah, if
Tattooer with the sign.
tattooer with a sign. Yep, that's a lot of shit. God damn.
You're
Yeah.
busy man, busy
Yeah,
man.
man. It's crazy. But here's the thing, is like I
Durb
don't do
Morrison,
it on my own.
Jiu-Jitsu.com.
Right? That's next. But I got an amazing team too that you guys see me do a lot. It's not just me, I'm the wheel, but like there's a lot of other people that help me out too. And I don't forget any of those people and people that help me every day. My managers, Jules, Jessica, Jasmine, like you've met all them.
Yeah, yeah. Great crew.
So I don't take all the credit for everything I do. You know, I couldn't do it without my team. In Hell City,
Absolutely.
could do Hell City on my own. I can organize it, but to make it happen. So in the industry, it's important to have relationships and things like that. So that's what helps me. But yeah, that's my next thing is Sturgis at the beginning of August, and then Hell City, Phoenix, Arizona. That'll be our I don't know how many years we've been doing Hell City. It's like 23 years now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna see if I can get out to Hell City, Phoenix this year. I was just looking at the calendar.
Bring your Speedo with you.
Because I gotta go. Oh yeah, like the
You have an Electrum
Borat,
Speedo?
the Borat Speedo, bro.
Oh shit. All right.
Dude, don't tempt me, bro. You know I'm crazy. I'll do
Oh,
some
I'll beg.
stupid
Make the
shit.
water real cold this year.
I'll do some crazy shit.
Be
Long,
out there
long as
with
there's
a
no
button.
cameras rolling, bro. I've had to duck out of a couple situations when I
Yeah.
see the phones come out. I'm like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
you ain't getting me there.
Nice try, Durb.
You're not blackmailing me, bro. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's
Well,
hilarious.
bro, I appreciate you taking time with me today, man.
Definitely,
It's always
man.
fun
Keep up the
catching
great
up with you.
podcast. Yeah,
All
definitely.
right.
I like the nature of this, the business of tattooing, because I think right now with tattooing being a little slow, people need to learn the business of tattooing.
Yeah, dude, I do different things on this podcast, so I'm also trying to get like some of the lesser known artists on, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it's important to give them a platform too, especially the ones that are really out there crushing it and
Those
doing
are the
good.
next big
So
dogs. Those are the next big
yeah,
dogs.
yeah, it's about giving back, right? So,
And
using
nourishing.
my platform to advance the tattoo community as well, that's more or less what it's about. I started writing that article in Skin and Ink magazine. God dang, I just went through and I've been in there for like going on 2.5 years now. I've been writing for Skin and Ink.
Oh, that's what I did for Tattoo Magazine when I was around for like a decade, dude. I was interviewing artists and
Yeah, but
like
with
it.
that, I just always saw this missing gap. It's like, oh, we're always talking about tattoos, but we don't ever talk about, well, how do tattoo artists be smart with their money? How do I set
Yeah.
myself up for retirement? What about insurance? What about, like what you said with True Tubes, intellectual property? How do I protect my ideas from sharks and people that want to steal them? So I started writing about that kind of shit. That to me is what the business of tattooing is. You know what I mean? Not, of course, the actual physical act of tattooing is the business of tattooing, but I like to pull the curtain back a little bit and show like what goes on behind the scenes in the business of tattooing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Not as
that's
pretty as it can look. It's tough.
it is tough, bro. It's real tough. But you know what? I'm fortunate because we've got guys like you as friends, and you always pick up the phone when I call, and we sometimes talk for a couple hours, bro.
Yeah, dude.
And that means a lot. So I appreciate it. You always have, always will.
Likewise, homie.
And thanks for coming on.
Oh yeah. I'll see you soon.